What's up, gang? I'm DJ today because DJ is in silent protest.
He is.
He's upset.
He's
For
sad.
just $1 a day, you can save poor souls like DJ McKellips from having to rebel against just vindictive overlords.
Lydia, would you
his,
like to
his brother.
tell us what exactly is happening?
Right. So if you guys haven't noticed, we have a very special episode today. Today is episode 69.
Nice.
Nice. I'll do it.
Nice.
So I have a soundboard, a brand new soundboard with 2 different sounds on it, and the first one is
Nice. Nice. Nice.
so I can use it whenever it's applicable this episode. The second one is,
Lydia, stop it.
which is it'll be used in very special moments. But for now I only have one thing to say, and that's
Nice.
So, all this being said, we want you to know here at the Paper Dungeon, we wanted to be special for you. We wanted to have the name of tonight's episode be the Paper Dungeon / Campaign 1, Episode 69, and then put it in parentheses, nice, because it's classic comedy right there. And, you know, that's
the
almost
truest
nostalgic at this point.
Nice.
Nothing funnier.
You know? But we have a certain robot who likes to think that he has power over us.
I'll end the stream right now. I'll do it. Don't tempt me,
But
DJ.
refuse. Do it. Do it. I don't want to.
No, don't do
Whoa,
it.
we have a
Don't
title.
do it.
This is a
Don't
big
do
day,
it.
man.
Come on, man.
Save
It's
it.
episode 69.
We should.
Oh
get
my
it.
gosh, it's episode 69.
What are
All
the
right,
plugs?
guys. We are super excited.
Nice.
We are actually really
Nice.
excited to be playing tonight. It's Stop It. The thing should say Grant, stop it, not Lydia. Anyway,
Lydia,
we are super excited to be
stop
playing
it.
tonight.
Keep going. I'm
Beyond
done.
like
I'm done. I'm
that.
done. I'm done.
I'm so upset.
I'm done.
I'm so upset on so many levels. But we are super excited to be playing tonight, even if we can't make classic comedy jokes, you know, because of certain somebody's Drew. But
Drew.
yeah, but we are excited to play. Tonight is episode 69 of the Paper Dungeon. We do have a few announcements before we go ahead and get started with them. We're just going to do our regular, usual announcements, starting with Miss Lydia.
Hi guys, check us out on social media. We got TikTok, we got Instagram, we got Twitter, we got those are the main ones. So definitely go check us out there where you can see funny clips, silly photos, things like that. Hasn't been all that active as of late, but that's going to change, so be there when it does. Also, we are sponsored by a very, very, very cool dice maker called Regal Rollers. We got commands for them. The beautiful freaking dice
my
are
God.
going to cycle through our stat blocks. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Truly.
I just-
Also,
I
if you
just
can
joined
find the
Kickstarter.
Paper Dungeon Facebook page, I will be very impressed.
It exists.
We have one.
It
I
does
think
exist.
does
Instagram
exist.
is linked to it.
We have never
Oh.
done anything with it.
Instagram is
Haven't
linked
done
to it, but I have
anything.
no way to access it.
Nice.
That's because we don't actually have a controllable page. It just kind of exists. We have a
It's just there to take up the space so nobody else takes it from us, you know? Thank you very much, Lydia. Aaron has our next announcement.
Hey guys, I'm not sure if you knew this, but we have a website with merch on it.
What?
No way.
Merchandise like that you can wear.
Yeah,
Whoa.
like wearable merchandise, as well as some other things that are also merchandise that you can't wear. Although I'm sure you could probably try.
Do we
You
have
can go
pillows?
there and purchase. We don't have pillows, but we do have like stickers,
Do we at least have
which I
hardcover
suppose
notebooks?
are technically wearable. And we also don't have hardcover notebooks. And I would
Man, this
say,
bar sucks.
unlike us, Lydia does, but she took them off her store.
I have pillows.
Pillows.
But she does have pillows, but no hardcover
Pillows.
notebooks. I am one of the only people in the world who owns a hardcover notebook made by Lydia, handmade,
No,
sent
It's
out
not.
personally.
no.
She delivers it herself to your
I
house.
did not do that at
This
all.
is a false claim. My statements don't reflect her business. Also, other than that, we have a Discord, which I'm sure that there are people right now hanging out in a Discord watch party.
There are. I said
Absolutely.
hi. I said hi
They're
earlier.
pretty rad.
Also, fair to
and-
mention, if you're in the watch party and you want to help us out a bit, opening it on like one of your other separate devices
Yes.
and just turning
Don't
it down
just watch
helps
us
us
on
some with
Discord.
viewership. I hate to be that guy, but
Yeah,
watch
stop
parties are
Help
taking
us
black.
fake our
away-
numbers.
Stop taking away from our views,
Yeah,
people who
Mads.
like us. Ah.
Oh,
Um,
gosh.
But thank you, everyone who's in the Discord and everyone who will join the Discord, because it's awesome. You can talk to us. You can get cool recipe ideas and like
It's true.
full-on recipes. We've got art. That's how you'll know when people go live. We have a bunch of people that like self-plug in there, and it's super awesome. You can find cool D&D streams or know when Lydia goes live, and then you can sleep through it for the past every single time she's gone live, like I have. And which is not intentional, and I feel really guilty about it. But every single time, I'm like, I'll just take a quick nap, and I wake up. It's like, oh, stream's over. Anyway, thanks
To be
for
fair-
listening to my plug. You can do
Thanks
that
for
during
the
the Discord.
gifted
It's
rating.
awesome.
Thank you very much, Aaron.
Enjoy
To be
your,
fair,
emotes,
both
Papa.
Grant and Lydia have started streaming more consistently, and I have yet to be in either or
Lydia,
have watched
come
either
on
one
my
of them.
way.
That's expected from you. You're the inconsistent one.
Exactly.
I accept this title. Hey, thanks for the sub, Raiden. That was nice.
Yeah.
That was
Thanks,
awesome.
Raiden.
You're lit. I expect
I have
one
it.
sub every stream, Raiden. Just you know.
No,
You know,
we don't.
That's, look,
I
don't.
DJ
DJ,
McKellips,
I'm
not the
the
paper
one-
dungeon. DJ McKellips expects one sub.
I'm
Oh
the
my
one who
gosh.
shills. You don't get to take my job.
That's
I have a
DJ.
counter. I have a counter to that, but I won't say it.
Good.
Grant has our next announcement.
Hey, YouTube podcast. We love ya. We love ya. We think it's really whenever
Nice.
you show up on stream and say hi I've seen you guys on YouTube, or I've been listening on Spotify or whatever. Also, it's always great to see you. Say hi to us live. We'd love to see you sometime. Plus, a follow goes a long way on Twitch, as well as if you have Prime, Amazon Prime, you get a free sub. So if you want to help us out for free, you can just drop that free Prime subscription via
Woohoo.
Twitch.
And
That'd be a
remember,
great way
they
to do it.
don't renew automatically. So for some of you who input your Prime sub
Mm.
last month, stop on back, renew it real quick, and give us a full
Snaps.
$5 because the Prime sub is way better for us than a regular sub, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Super cool. We're happy all of you are
Oh.
here. I felt like there was more, but for now,
50%
that's
better.
all, Chief. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you guys for all your announcements. I don't think there's anything else that we want to say before. Oh, actually, aside from one last nice.
Nice.
Let's go ahead and get started with tonight's episode 69. Nice.
Nice.
Of the Paper Dungeon. Roll the clip,
Yeah.
Brew. Welcome to Nikomuris, a world of divine sacrifice and forgotten evil. Over 8 centuries have passed since the devastation of the trial, but despite the world's rebirth, the people have returned to their lust for darkness and ruin. Follow us as 6 souls are bound together in a twist of fate and emerging powers. For those that oppose the light and all that is good in the world have come together to snuff it out. Our heroes are now at the forefront of war. They must discover the role they play in abyssal ambition and righteous judgment. Our story will find our adventurers through glory, fear, and fortune as they make their way through the Paper Dungeon. All right. So, in our previous episodes, we have been following Fate's Gambit as they have begun a campaign against the forces of darkness that have overrun the country of Oclaron and the capital city of Athala, along with spreading as far north as Rivaluna, the home country of Kathyr, in one of its largest cities known as Dalwara. They started this campaign by obtaining a pact with a group of 6,000 orcs, a tribe of orcs that is going to act as their kind of Navy SEAL-esque unit within the army that they have raised. Once they did obtain that unit, they returned to the refugee camps that was being set up, or that had been set up, to discover that 10,000 Moon Elven soldiers had traveled down to join in the overcoming of Oclaron, being led by Cathyr's best friend Vyzen, also the fiance to Cathyr's sister Volna, along with some other new faces such as Tiala and some other of the generals, or some old faces for some, such as Biero, Cathyr's brother. All of these were welcomed, and they then planned and begun the assault on Oclaron, marching across the border, and actually marching for about 3 days before they finally faced their first battle, at which point they decidedly won their victory, to the point where the opposing forces needed to retreat, at which point they chased them down and slaughtered them like pigs once again. Good job, guys.
Delicious.
War.
Nice.
Unfortunately, it was not without cost, though. As the opposing forces were getting destroyed, their leader, a Death Pact Angel, was able to obtain or imprison Tiala and Biero, two of the captains of the army that had gone with them, and obviously people that have personal preference or personal relationships to members of Fate's Gambit, Tiala being an interested party in Edward, and Biero obviously being Cathyr's brother. So they then went on this search to get Tiala and Biero back. By doing so, or in order to do so, they lured the Death Pact Angel with her own Mortem Blade, kind of her anchor to whatever plane that she's on. They lured her into a trap, at which point they sprung the trap, and it was honestly really annoying. They did a really good job. It was a really good trap for her, and as a DM, I can't just go, no, this doesn't work because I know what you're planning on doing, as much as I want to sometimes, because it was a really good trap. Good job, guys. But they beat the crap out of her before she finally got her blade back, and she was able to bring everybody into a small
Demiplane.
a demiplane.
Demiplane.
A demiplane. You're not supposed to say the word demiplane.
Tale of Wisteria Vale. That's the one shot on YouTube.
Carcosa? That's a deep cut, Grant.
That was a good one though. Anyway, Tale of Wisteria Vale.
Anyway, while they were in the demiplane, they found that Tiala and Biero were hanging from infinite chains up into the sky, and through basically fighting through the demiplane itself, as it basically rejected their presence, along with facing this Death Pact Angel. They fought long and hard before eventually they were able to defeat her, but not without a cost. As they were going through this battle, they found themselves on the verge of death, having some of them being unconscious multiple times. And so Vyzen, who had traveled with them, pulled on one of the pacts that he made with the Moon Elven god. What?
God
Virion.
of Generals.
Virion. Yes, thank you. Yes, perfect. Who made a pact with him that allowed for him to sacrifice himself in order to boost his comrades, which it did. It was the boost that they needed to end up victorious. And so after that fight, they freed Tiala and Biero. Kathyr then tried to bargain for Vyzen's life. Unfortunately, he was not successful in freeing Vyzen's life, but he was able to come to kind of an understanding as to how impactful this was going to be, and Vyzen making his own choice. So they then returned to where they were staying, which is in Riniya's room in the Argent Palace on the Abyss, the Palace of Graz'zt, where some tea got spilt, like quite a bit of it. Kathyr and Biero destroyed a weight room. It was awesome. Tiala, kissed Edward for the first time.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
At which point Edward admitted that he loved her after one
Nice.
date. Edward admitted that he loved her, even though they'd only gone on one date. She thanked him for that and was happy to continue to spend time with him and explore the possibilities of what could happen.
None of that was said, but yes.
Actually, two of those
Nice.
things were said.
Yeah,
And then finally, Riniya and Graz'zt had their own moment where Graz'zt revealed many of his daddy issues, why he doesn't like his father Asmodeus. And Riniya and Graz'zt admitted that they loved each other for the first time as well. It was very, very emotional, very, very impactful. And we are going to.
Were flying.
Sparks were freaking flying, bro. My cheeks toasty. I got to kiss Grant like 7 times. It was awesome.
And then
Yeah,
Lydia
that did
cast
happen.
Zone of Truth, which had the same vibe as in Star Wars when Yoda was like, I feel as though thousands of lives were struck down in one moment. I could feel every person go, oh,
Don't
Everyone was
feel
like,
too,
oh.
don't feel
and
too bad, Kathyr.
and-
You'll get another chance, I'm sure.
It makes. Oh my god.
Oh, wow. That from Grant was intense.
she was like,
Holy
what?
crap, Grant.
Oh gosh.
Wow, that was so mean.
You know, Grant,
Nice.
I at
we
one
are gonna
point
pick
liked
up-
Edward.
Drew, you're muted. Wait for it. He's
No,
coming.
don't
He's
worry.
coming
The
back.
chat heard me. That's all that matters. You don't need to hear me.
We don't get to know.
That's a dangerous power.
Oh wow.
So we're gonna pick up. Lydia, you're wanting to have another conversation with Graz'zt, or are you wanting to just continue this conversation?
Either one. If we want to pick up in the next morning, if we whatever
Yeah.
everybody else wants.
You usually wake up the earliest, so let's
Mhm.
do that. Everybody, we're gonna say that you guys all return to Riniya's room. Along with, we'll say that the room across the hall, which was a weight room, has magically shifted into another bedroom. So not everybody has to stay in Riniya's room, even though it could easily fit all of you guys. And so you guys went to bed. You all got well rested. And with you guys, sleeping, having that fun time, having those fun dreams, quote unquote, excuse me. Riniya, you wake up earlier than everybody as you usually do. It's like 6 a.m, maybe 7. It's hard to tell. The abyss doesn't really have a sun or a moon. It's just kind of always this like dreary, gloomy place with like a
It
little bit
brought
of
some
light.
wall clocks.
Yeah, exactly.
1 o'clock.
So you wake
Did
up.
did anybody end up staying in her room with her? Out of you 3?
I don't think. I think Edward would have gone to the other room.
Tiala might have stayed.
Ah, how nice.
Skip right past that.
Riniya's
yeah,
like,
Edward would have also gone over.
She's
like-
still asleep.
She's like, Tiala, I'm gonna be right back, okay? Okay. And she'll kind of like tuck in Tiala a little bit, and then
Okay.
she's gonna head out, and she's gonna go look for Graz'zt.
Okay. You go to the usual spots first. First, you check his office, which he's not there, which is kind of surprising because he's usually there when you're doing things. Before eventually you knock on the door to his bedroom. You hear him kind of like drearily, like very groggy, kind of like grunt before you hear like the covers come off, and he like gets out of bed, stands up. He goes and he opens the door. At which point he's in his full demonic form. So, you know, the whole like 10 feet tall, the horns, the scars, everything. Rippling abs, like bulging biceps.
But he's
Somehow
in
he's
boxers.
glistening. You're not quite sure why he's glistening. It's like he has a pump going, but you're not quite sure. You know, tattoos everywhere. Basically in sweatpants. Oh, good morning, my love.
Morning. That's okay if I come in?
Of course. He steps back, and then as he's stepping back, he like shrinks down to still his demonic form, but like 6 feet tall instead of 10 feet. Oh, it is early.
Yeah. I wake up really early.
Good to know.
It's an elf thing.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I don't sleep very long, and I actually didn't sleep all that well. A lot of butterflies.
Butterflies?
In like the tummy.
Mm-hmm. You're nervous.
Yeah.
Why are you nervous?
Well, I was thinking a lot about everything you told me. And I want to show you something.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay. And she's visibly very nervous about this. And she kind of takes a second to like prep herself a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then she looks at him and can I have your hands? And she takes them and she leaves the palms like facing up, but she does grab hold of them, and she kind of like wraps them around her, like back behind her a bit.
Okay.
And she very carefully like slides them underneath her shirt so that he can
Okay.
feel her back, because she is showing him her 2 scars from Kai, her husband. There's 2 of them. They are side by side. They go up and down side by side on her back. And they're pretty decent in size. And while they've been there for a few years, they don't feel like they've faded. Like they still feel like very
Like
recent
very
scars.
yeah.
Yeah.
He first he's really confused as he begins to kind of feel around. He actually like pulls you in close like a hug at first, and then you're like, no. Before eventually he kind of like starts to kind of feel like the sides of your lumbar where the scars really are. Kind of starts to notice that. Kind of feels up and down. What are these?
Remember how I mentioned that I was married, and it ended really bad. That's how it ended.
With these, as he kind of drags his hands down them.
Yeah.
Roll an insight check with advantage, since you're like right there, like this far away from looking him in his eyes.
Hold on. I'm pretty sure it's a plus 8 I have. I gotta double check.
She's like, it's like a 36, you know.
I believe it's a 24, but
Yeah. That's great.
yeah.
You're like staring at his face, very intently watching. And you watch him go from, as you're explaining it, confusion to sympathy for you to pure like hatred for Kai. I'm going to ask this out of courtesy. If I went and I killed him, would you be upset?
That's no, but don't kill him.
I mean, he deserves this. And I will admit, I don't like that he has left his mark on you.
I mean, I feel the same. But can't undo it. And even if I could undo it, I don't know if I would.
Well, I suppose that was my next question. If you wanted them removed. If you don't mind me asking, how what happened? Here, and he pulls his hands out before grabbing yours and kind of guiding you over to the foot of the bed so you guys can sit and face each other and get a little more comfortable.
It's really long and complicated. Cult family. But marriage means very different things to a lot of people than what it meant to my family. And especially with my family, marriage was about the name, not the person. So my grandfather chose for Kai to marry me, and that was how it was. And I liked Kai. I think I loved him, but at the same time, I love you, and that is very, very, very different than what that love was. But I was starting to stray, and my family didn't like that. And these scars are from my dagger, the dagger I have now. It's what Kai used, but it wasn't Kai's dagger, it was actually my father's. My father gave it to him so that he could kill me, because that was his job as my husband. So yeah, but I wanted to show you because it's not that I didn't trust you. I trust you completely. But I have been hurt. And even though I've healed, I still carry those scars. And I'm sorry that I let the memory of them hurt you too.
My love, there is no need for an apology. I love you. And that means every part of you. The good and the bad. Your beauty and your scars. Part of my job is to help you process and heal. And I'm here for you.
Can you really make them go away? The scars. I know you can make a guy go away. Yeah, that one I know. But the scars.
I think so.
I'd like that.
right. Here. Uh, take your shirt off, and he like turns away and then lay down on the bed. By the way, take your shirt off, lay down, and then he turns.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
I hate that. Episode 69.
Gross.
She does that.
Yeah, you lay down, and after you're laying down with your back exposed and the long drawn out scars across basically on either side of your spine. He comes over and sits over you and places his hands just on basically on your shoulder blades, not quite on the scars, and just slowly very lightly traces and rubs just so you become kind of comfortable with him touching you and everything like that before he leans down. Are you ready?
Is it gonna like hurt or like tickle or what?
Your family's power comes from Fraser Blue, so he is very strong and very powerful, and
It's so intense every time.
oh
Like,
my gosh,
No.
Grant-
That was still in character. That was Graz'zt. He's lighting. That was Pockets. He's lighting like
You're talking
romantic
about-
candles.
every time.
we're heating a little like the soothing stones, you know, like that you
Yeah.
place on the back. Yeah,
Little,
exactly.
My match actually went out.
Also,
so I
this
gotta let
entire
it-
conversation out of context is unreal.
Oh my gosh, dog!
I
Don't.
can't handle it, man. I had to look away
Context
so
is
many times so
extremely
that Aaron wouldn't
important.
make me laugh.
Um,
You guys are doing
Graz
great.
is thank you. Shut up. Graz is extremely powerful. Perhaps even more so than myself. Overcoming the result of him could be painful.
Okay.
All right. And he kisses your cheek. Before slowly dragging his hands repeatedly over the two scars that you have. And you start to feel this at first, just like the warmth of his hands before it gets hotter and hotter. And soon as he's rubbing his hands over your back, there is almost like this searing sensation along the scars as it feels almost like your skin is being like burned off as he drags, and it seems to go on forever. You know, it doesn't seem to end anytime soon. But after probably what would be like an actual minute, he finally stops and looks down before standing and grabbing a mirror and handing you the mirror. Because there's like his bed, and then across the room is a massive like 20-foot tall by like 15-foot wide mirror that goes across. So now you can like take the little hand mirror and like look in that mirror and see, you know, like how you look at like the back of your hair and stuff like that when you get a haircut.
She's got her head like buried like at this point after all that. She's just like a muff. Isn't done.
Yes. Here. Take a look. And he hands you the mirror before sheepishly looking away.
She goes to look.
You go and you look, and as you look at your back, first of all, shredded, absolutely jacked.
Queen.
Queen.
Percent.
Definitely lifts.
Girl boss.
Yeah, girl boss, 100%. But there are like streaks, like basically the size of his hands, of pink, tender skin. But the sharp white lines that used to be within those streaks are completely gone. There's also like a little I love you like on in Sharpie, like up on like the base of your neck.
Sharpies are canon now.
That's just what we call knives.
He branded you. That's terrible. No, not at all.
They're gone.
That really sucked.
Yeah. Not. No. Don't want to ever do that again.
Do me a favor and don't get stabbed in the back by your husband. Again.
Okay. I will do my best.
Good.
At this point, she's gotten dressed again and.
Dang it.
Missed
Nice.
opportunity.
Okay. Well. Thank you. I'm sorry to make you do that.
All right. And as you look at him, so he's typically like a pretty like deep shade of purple, but as you look at his hands are extremely like pale compared to the rest of him. It looks like all of like the coloring in his hands is basically gone at the moment.
Child of Urtress.
Dog. We're taking applications.
It didn't hurt you, did it?
No,
Inside
No.
check.
go for it.
Yeah, that's a 19 on die plus 8.
Oh yeah, he's
27.
100% die. He's 100% lying.
You're lying.
No, not at all.
You're lying.
Not lying. No,
You're
I would
lying.
never lie to you.
Ow,
Can I
double
just know the
lie.
truth?
No,
Why not?
because I don't like it. And he goes over and he kisses your forehead.
Because you're lying.
Don't know what you're talking about. And he goes over and like crawls back into bed. No,
Only Sith steal in absolutes. I'm just saying.
yeah, but if you want, you're welcome to stay. Well, I understand if you want to leave. I know your friends aren't gonna get up for a while. He like sat next to him on the bed.
A little bit of time.
Okay, just saying.
Great.
Kathyr's also an elf, so if we're going based off of it's an elf thing, Kathyr's awake too.
Oh well,
Just
yeah.
saying.
You guys usually wake up around the same time, but just back up. What
I
happened to
do
Mo?
imagine that, like, while the healing thing was going on, Kathyr went like,
Like it was during the scar removal.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no.
she's just gonna.
Oh,
I was-
Riniya, where I was needed to talk to you. Oh, just gonna turn around.
Like you walked in and Graz'zt was like,
the door.
Oh yeah, Riniya did this.
Graz'zt gave you a death look. Yeah, you crawl into bed. And yeah, you guys hang out, do whatever you're gonna do. You know. The rest of you guys
Fade to black.
fade to black. Keep PG.
Episode 69.
No,
Next.
no, I'm not doing
Anyway.
it. I'm not pressing the button.
You have to.
Lydia, stop it.
Not
I
that
pressed a
one.
button.
I knew he was gonna do that.
That was well played.
So, is there anything else that you want to do with Graz'zt?
I'm good.
Cool. Kathyr, do you do anything specifically in the hours that you're awake before your friends?
I mean, I need
Stats,
to track to do the thing that I want to do.
Cool.
Oh, wake me up. I'm in.
So
You wake up. Yeah, you wait a couple hours, and then Tarak usually only sleeps for 6 hours, and then he does a couple hours of light activity. So
Yeah.
after a couple hours, he's awake.
My reps in. I'm like, where did the bench room go? Where did the weights?
Edward can
okay.
be working out too. I
Yeah,
guess.
so yeah,
Y'all
after
also wake up then.
Good form. Good form. Nice.
Okay.
Yo,
I-
Kathyr, what's up?
yeah, so as they're
Hey,
working
Kathyr.
out, I'll just go over. Well, good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys feeling?
999, 1,000. Oh, hey, Kathyr,
1,000.
just doing
Wow,
my morning crunches.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
Did
you're
you-
getting pretty good at
Did you
it.
do that in the past 30 minutes?
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
That's very well done.
100%.
Yep, all 1,000 of them.
Uh huh.
I was
You
at
look
150.
Tiala just shakes your head.
Not too great at the numbers either. I've just been kind of going with it.
Hey,
Uh,
Kathyr. It's a pretty big day, isn't it?
It is, yes. Tarak,
Yeah,
would it? I need your assistance with something. I need to re-enter
I'm
the.
so in. Anytime you need a spotter, I'm on it. Let's go.
That in a moment. But I actually need to go into the pyramid again.
Ah, deal. What?
Great. I enter the pyramid.
Very nice.
And
Triangulated.
The orcs have only been there for like a day, but in that day of staying in this exact same place, doing absolutely nothing, it has driven them mad. They are going stir crazy in the pyramid. And so you arrive, and half of them are asleep. But you remember the party that you guys went to, the orcish party?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
There are people flying, coins are being tossed. There's some guy that's been stabbed like 7 times, and he like has the blade still in him, and he's still dancing.
We call that move the blender.
Oh my gosh.
But
Nice.
off on in the corner of the like little buildings that they have built on top of the coins, you do see where Vyzen passed on.
Perfect.
I'm assuming that's what you're doing, right?
Yes, that is what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I go over and I recover his possessions, whatever of those remain, and his sword. Also, so sorry if anyone can hear like the lawnmower outside. This guy. Oh my goodness! Here, give me
It's
one
okay.
second.
I think it sounds fine.
It's like
Okay.
lo-fi.
There are
Like
two. There,
lo-fi.
Oh, Drew just held up. Hey, Thursday, table scraps plug. Go, go, go.
Oh yeah, just so you guys
No,
know,
nice.
we have another show that we run on Thursdays.
Nice.
I host it. It's called Table Scraps. We'll talk about this episode, and then we'll eventually get sidetracked and talk about who knows else. Might be Twilight. It might be some random thing that actually does relate to
Nice.
Dungeons and Dragons, or it could just be I don't know, like some random dumb thing that I happen to get fixated
Oh,
on
Drew's
at
back.
the time.
Drew's back. Wrap up, buddy. Wrap up.
That's it.
Set? All right.
Nice.
Let's continue
Drew,
with the episode.
you Grant. Drew, you find 2 things. You find Vyzen's sword,
Uh-huh.
and you find a gold chain with a ring on it.
Ooh. Yep. Okay. Yippee. I take them both.
Yeah.
And I put them. The gold chain I will just put in my bag, and then his sword I will actually throw it over my back,
Okay.
and then I will exit the pyramid.
You pull up the holographic pyramid and bap yourself.
Yep.
Cool. You return to the weight room.
That's such an aggressive bap.
I feel so bad that we interrupted each other's jokes.
It's okay. I heard mine.
Good.
Anyway, so then I come back to the weight room.
You see Tiala repping out more pull-ups than Edward.
That's not surprising.
Grant, you're muted.
Then Edward notices Kathyr and he's doing pull-ups and he says, 4,998, 4,999, 5,000. Woo! Woo. That
Man.
lactic
by that
acid
logic,
is really building up in there, isn't it?
You're almost completing the basic training for moon elves. Congratulations.
Wait, what? Really? No.
Does that mean that he can become an honorary? Does it work the same as orcs?
I mean, I don't think it's quite the same as orcs. I think orcs is probably a little more intense than moon elves.
I could join the Elvish army if I
But
wanted
like,
to.
you could just become a moon elf. That's a thing you can do.
Well, I mean, he
I want
wouldn't.
to be a moon elf.
I think it's like becoming a half orc, Tarak. You know, if you're accepted into society.
If I become accepted by every group of elves, do I become a full elf?
Anyway,
Like how if I get like 6 orc, like if you were to get 6 orcish names, you'd become a full orc.
Sure.
I don't think it's the same.
I'm in. Goal acquired.
wait. So does this mean that Edward is a half elf?
I literally am a half
You-
elf.
That's
He's
the
been
s-
half elf
that's
all
the
Oh,
That's
I
no
joke.
see. You were making a joke here.
Nice.
See, the thing was, DJ, it wasn't funny.
It was funny.
I thought it was good.
Oh my gosh.
It was
So,
funnier.
You
than
guys
other
spend
jokes he's made, I guess, sometimes.
head out here with the roast today. So, would you guys like to do anything else as you lift weights?
I'm good.
Cool.
Yeah.
After a couple hours, Riniya comes out from wherever she is, and she looks really nice. You know, she looks pretty happy.
The music that's playing, like, you know how all gyms have like music playing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
The
heavy metal.
the music playing right
Right
now
now.
is just like, and when I get that.
Pockets has like a
Oh, that's
boombox
even
over his
better.
head.
How's your conversation with Graz'zt, Riniya?
Make it feel so
Uh,
fine.
good.
That's
They
not the
spoke
rhythm.
with their bodies.
That's good.
Sorry.
That's good.
DJ.
I'm sorry.
What happened to the whole PG rating, God?
I haven't said anything yet.
Yeah.
Well, I think all of us are ready to go. If
We're
you
just
are,
listening.
we're just kind of
Okay.
passing the time.
sets left.
Yep. Keep
You got it, Edward. Keep going. You got it. You got it.
No. Power through. This is the time.
Come on, Edward.
Screaming for you.
You got
I
it.
just
You
like-
got it.
I
I
got
get
it.
I just put like one
I'm
hand
lifting it.
underneath it, just lightly help him lift it up.
You got it.
Oh,
You
boo,
got
You'll
it.
never improve that way.
You did that like it was nothing. Whoa.
I
Anyway,
mean,
we should
Edward,
probably go fight a war.
I am
right?
significantly
think
stronger
I've
than
done.
you.
You know what this scene reminds me of is when SpongeBob had the stick with the marshmallows.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Two,
Yes.
count them, 2 marshmallows.
Okay, so we're going. What are we doing?
Now, my question is: so when we last opened the door to your room,
Right.
we were in
Oh.
a demiplane that was collapsing.
Yeah.
Now the
So where
question
would
is:
the
was
door
that
go
demiplane
now?
spatially in the
Right.
same place as a material plane?
Yeah.
So now when we open the door, it'll
We're
be
in the
where
same
we
place
were.
as
with
I
the
mean, in
entrance.
theory,
into
we
a
could just
plane.
open the door and see where it
Oh.
puts us.
I'm just
That is
wanting
true.
to see if we want
It's
to take
sucked
steps
into the
now.
astral plane.
It
Um,
might take us to the astral sea.
Maybe maybe we should ask about that technicality.
Yeah, can Graz'zt like GPS position the door?
Hey, Graz'zt.
Graz'zt,
But
Graz'zt. I start making summoning hand signs.
where is that demon lord? Maybe Pockets knows.
Pockets.
He,
Go get Graz'zt.
I guess, comes like a dog.
Hey, one of the voices he
Graz'zt.
actually cares about.
Riniya didn't say anything.
Oh,
I said
fair.
I told Pockets to go get him.
Hey, Graz'zt, Riniya is in here.
Okay, he'll come. He'll come if Pockets come to get him. That's a little less like a fucking servant. Pockets goes and gets Graz'zt. He arrives. You summoned me.
Yeah, we have a question. So
Right.
when we entered the door, we were in a demiplane that was collapsing.
Oh, small detail. I just realized Graz'zt is in full like battle armor. By the way.
Nice.
Like
Hot.
in full demon
Respectable.
form, full battle.
Nice.
Yeah,
armor.
like straight up like he's got like he's in his like 10-foot tall demon form. He's got the waving what's it called?
The sword.
We've looked it
Yeah.
up every time.
I look it up every time. Anyway, he has his massive like 7-foot long like wavy sword with the hook on the end. He's got the full plate going on. It's all black. It honestly looks more like scale mail than like plate armor, but it
Have
does
we
the
like
same thing.
seen him in demon form? I don't think some of us have.
You all seen him in demon form, yeah. When he first
Oh.
arrived in the scholar's guide, he was in
Okay.
demon form.
Right.
Kathyr
alright.
wasn't there for that.
Yeah, but he like
I don't
woke
think
you
I
up and
was.
scared you, Kathyr.
Yeah, you've all seen him in full demon
Oh yeah,
form.
that's right.
I'm
When
cool with
when Tarak threatened him, when Riniya and him were like first getting together, he was in full demon form.
that.
good
Edward
times.
looks
Anyway,
unsettled. That's it.
Yeah.
But when we entered the door, we were in a demiplane that was collapsing. If we go
Okay.
back through the door, are we gonna be back? Like, are we just gonna get sucked into like the astral plane, or are we gonna like?
Probably.
Okay.
Is there a way to not have that happen?
Yeah, preferably.
I think we die, right? Yeah, we die. Yeah.
In the
Oh, I
astral
remember
plane,
you
you
talking
move
about that.
through your mind. Where do you want to go?
Back to the material plane.
Could you
Where-
be
where-
slightly more specific than the entirety of the material plane?
Well, back to where our armies are in the fields of
Ocleron. Okay.
Ocleron. Yes.
Good. Sounds good.
There's a hill.
All right. Great. He snaps, and you all are instantly back in. You have that sinking feeling, like the roller coaster feeling, or you do like planar travel.
Oh, lovely.
It's gross every single time. You never get used to it. It's always just on the verge of throwing up.
It feels as though my skin has been flayed off my body for the second time.
Second time.
Actually,
But
it's more
you
like
guys-
third. 2.5.
Find yourselves back in Ocleron, specifically in the encampment. You guys, the army that you guys left off with, had their battle in that rocky outcropping. If you guys remember where Tiala and Biero had been taken and all that type of stuff, that is where the army has made camp, and the entirety of the army is there. So all basically 12,000 soldiers at this point are still there.
Solid.
Wow.
Can we tell
arrive.
how much time has passed, seemingly?
One day, same amount of time.
Great. Wonderful.
Sweet. Did we win?
Yes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Nice.
Is there? Are we just like in the middle of everything, or are we?
No, you guys are probably 200 yards outside of where the tents have started to set up.
Okay.
We should
Okay.
go find Lotta and the others and Volna to see what kind of reports there are.
It's a
Sounds
great
good.
idea.
Right.
I'm sure they have plans by now.
Kathyr,
Mhm.
are you?
Oh, thanks for the raid, Adventures and Initiative.
Oh, well,
Thank you for the
thank
raid.
you, guys.
Hello, friends.
We're
Um,
about to siege a city and maybe die.
Yeah.
What?
Kathyr, are you okay with going to see Volna? Do you want to do that by yourself, or do you want company?
Well, I should probably talk to her about that. About that, just privately. I think we should all go right now, though,
Right.
just because just to regroup a little bit.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Mhm.
And we find where the main camp is. The main tent is that one. That
Yep.
one. The big tent. in the
You
middle.
guys make your way back in through camp. As you do, you almost feel like prophesied saviors walking through like a crowd of civilians.
Guys, is that
As like you hear like little whispers as like Fate's Gambit is coming through, and the hope and all this type of stuff is as you guys walk through along with Tiala and Biero.
Kathyr, he's so hot.
Look at his traps.
These traps could crush a mountain.
Right there for the bingo. But you guys make your way to the center of camp where you find the big, massive war tent. As you step into it, you see Averall Shanala, the second in command, currently looking over some maps along with some of the other captains. Those are the same rank as Tiala and Biero. Oh, you have returned. Fantastic. And I'm happy to see that you guys, Tiala and Biero, you are looking alive. Maybe not well and healthy, but at least alive. Good. Where's
Yep.
Vizin?
DM, what was her name again? Averall?
His name is Averell Shanala. Adeourel Shanala.
Don't know how to turn that into a phone company.
I believe in you.
It's no. It's only cat people
Oh
related
yeah,
to
he's
Kathyr.
not like related or going to be related to
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
At
what.
least we don't think, Just replace Vizin.
Yeah, not
You.
happening.
Maybe someday. That's a little fast, though.
Where's Vizin?
Vizin is no longer with us. He gave his life
Yes.
in service.
I see.
We would not be here without him. Are we here with him? We're here, right?
Yes,
all-
we are all here
I'm just making
together.
sure I didn't want to like just input myself in the scene, you know.
That's so unlike you.
Remember that
He
part
gave
where I
himself
said
up.
we should all go together?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
I'm sure that is true. You should probably tell Volna.
Yes. Where is she?
She's at the civilian camp.
Right. Yes. Go ahead. I look to the others, Riniya, Tarak, and Edward. Go ahead and give me the debriefing when I return. I look to Biero. Do you want to come along?
I think this is all on you. You have my support, though.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. For a second, I thought he was blaming me. I'm just
No.
Wow,
I can see why you
that
I'm
hurts.
just saying.
This
One
is
of us
your
was
fault,
captured.
so you
Other
get to.
one have the ability to do something.
Yeah, I was in
just-
chains when you let this happen. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Anyway,
Kathyr,
yes. Yeah, please.
she gives Kathyr a hug.
Oh,
And then
you.
a little bit extra. Give that to Volna for me.
Okay,
Squeeze it a little tighter. Okay.
thank you.
Wounds.
And
I'm sorry.
I will exit the tent and go through the process of resummoning my owl,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
and
Ooh.
I will fly to the civilian camp.
Okay. You summon the owl, and it's massive. It's huge.
Nice.
Like owls or Grant to 4.
Nice owl.
It is a nice owl. It's good. Watch yourself. I'm watching you. But you begin going through, and you fly up into the sky and begin making your way back towards what the old refugee camp is. You know that the civilian camp has moved to be a little bit closer to the army as it follows them across Oclaron. But it's still probably about an hour or so of flying before
Nice.
eventually you get to the much smaller camp. We're talking about, probably 6,000 soldiers, 6,000 people or so. You do arrive. As you do, you're like coming in on this massive owl and circling around. And so the kids and the teenagers and some of the like women and children that are there, they all like start like gathering in the circle, like, oh my gosh, Kathyr's arriving. Oh
my god,
she's
he
such a good
totally
thing."
died that one time. I can see his traps from here.
Did we go to a funeral?
But didn't I go to his funeral? But you do arrive, at which point kids like immediately start jumping on the owl. It like doesn't know what to do with all the small children. It just kind of like
bones.
just like shrinks up. After a moment, Lotta approaches you.
Mm-hmm.
Kathyr.
Hello, Volna. Do we have somewhere we could speak privately?
This was Lotta.
Oh, Lotta? No, I'm sorry. My brain wasn't working. See, I'm already having a hard. Yeah, exactly.
I'm Lotta, by the way.
Oh, Lotta, I'm so sorry. A lot on my mind. Hi, how are you?
All right. Very much tired of children.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. There's part of me that misses the action, but there's very much another part of me that does not miss the action at all.
Right. I can understand that. Do you where is Volna?
In her tent, I believe.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect.
I make my way over there.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way. She has a somewhat sizable tent. It's a little bit bigger than some of the other ones. It's not quite as big as like the large dining tent. There's like the traditional like little bell on the outside where you can shoot
Uh-huh.
a knock?
Yeah, I can knock. I'll ring the bell.
Bring There you go. Add it to the soundboard. Um, she pokes her head up. Oh, Kathyr! And she immediately like steps out and pulls you into a big hug.
Yeah, I'll hug her back.
What are you doing here?
Um. Are we outside of her tent?
Mhm.
I'll just kind of gently pull her into the tent.
No. You, as with your solemn state that you have found yourself in, she immediately sees right through it as you're pulling her in. She's like, "No, what happened?"
I'm so sorry.
No.
Out of my satchel, I will pull out the chain with the ring on it, and I will place it in her hands.
She immediately breaks down sobbing. Like straight up whole ugly cry, like not having a good time, obviously.
And Kathyr will just hold her.
Yeah, like you hand it to her and she like notices it and she begins to like start sobbing and almost almost collapses in on herself. It's almost as if a part of her like physically has just given up. And you basically catch her before she like falls up to the ground as she sobs for like 20 minutes. And you just hold her before eventually she composes herself. She takes the ring off the chain and puts it on her finger. So she has both her engagement ring and his. Is there anything we could have done?
I wish there was. And I was prepared to do whatever it took to bring him back. But I was not prepared to dishonor him by refusing to accept the choice he made. He made the ultimate sacrifice so that we might live. I'm so sorry.
It's part of the territory.
Kathyr, is she still is she standing back standing at this point?
No, she's sitting on her bed, on her bedroll.
Okay.
Which is like on a cot, so it's raised.
Right. Kathyr at this point will kind of kneel down on the ground and unsheath Vizen's sword from his back and kind of just hold it somewhat presentingly, and he'll say, "Now I know that by all rights this blade now belongs to you. But I'm asking that you allow me to hold on to it until I finish what Vizen started."
I have this. This is all I need. This is, and she reaches out and she kind of like closes your hand around it because as you're offering, she closes your hands around it. This is yours for whatever you intend with it. He would have wanted you to have it.
I will sheath it and just kind of sit next to her on the cot. I have to get going back now. We're probably going to be marching on soon. Athala is not too far away from where we are.
Right.
Are you going to be okay?
With blank, broken, expressionless eyes, she looks up at you and says, "Yeah."
Just pull her into a hug.
She holds you very, very tightly.
We'll be home soon. And we can properly mourn the loss of our friend.
Okay.
And he'll stand up and walk towards the exit of the tent before turning and giving a slight bow and leaving.
You're an idiot.
But I am your favorite idiot.
I suppose now. You return and return to your owl, waving goodbye to the children, almost like shooing them off the wings of this owl as it's like almost like about to like flick them off of it before you arrive. While Kathyr's gone. Kathyr's gone for probably a total of 3 hours. Is there anything that everybody wants to do?
So, is like the next thing that we do march on Athala?
So you're not quite sure because you know where you're at, where you're not like super, super far away. You could probably get to Athala within the next couple of days. Last you guys knew about, though, there was that unit of the Black Guard that was around. Now, you guys did fight most of that unit, so you're not quite sure what's going on. You probably need a progress report update on everything that's going on.
That is an excellent thing to do in this amount of time.
Great.
Yeah, I suppose I would imagine they'd just set up again or like put their stuff down, and then I guess I know Edward would be down to find the like main tent.
Yeah,
Or, like,
Track's going full war.
So you mean the place you're already at?
Yes.
Great. So yeah, Kathyr leaves. The rest of you guys are left behind with Averell and some of the other Averell, I should say, and some of the other generals. I suppose you guys are going to be wanting an update on what's going on.
How did you know?
That'd be nice, yeah.
I had a sense in my bones. I think God was telling me
The
something.
good old bone sense.
Which one?
All of them.
Are we talking to Lotta right now as well?
Nice. No, Lotta was with Kathyr. Literally, that was the first person he talked to. At
Yeah,
the
my
camp, like,
timeline,
that
the
he flew
timeline
all
in
the
my
way
mind
over.
is weird because I can
So-
remember if he ran into
my
Lotta
gosh.
in the war tent.
Oh my gosh.
Who are we
Sorry,
talking?
Ben
DJ,
just like
now you
started
feel my pain.
spewing like cold air, and that feels so good. I'm so
I
hot.
talk with Grant all the time, and this is how it feels every time.
Aw.
Nice.
So, Grant, just nice. Just so you are aware of all the details that I already said, but I'll run them by you again. So
The
there's
chat
2
would like
camps.
chat. They would like a recap too.
No, they don't. No. So there's 2 camps. There's the camp with all the soldiers, and then several miles away, there's a camp with the civilians.
camp.
Exactly. Leading the civilian camp is Lotta.
Right, she's
That
tired
is-
of the kids.
Exactly. She's tired of the
Yeah.
kids. That's where
Mm.
Kathyr went. He flew
as
for
far
about
as
an
I know.
hour. He was there for about an hour, and now he's
Right.
flying back. So 3 hours gone.
Mm,
Can't go talk to Lotta because she's not where you are.
right, and so we're in the war tent.
Of the military encampment, yes.
Yeah, who are we talking to?
You're talking to Averell, Shanala, the second in command.
Oh,
now
right.
first in command.
This guy, the one who we couldn't think of a phone name for.
Yes. You got it. You caught up?
Nice.
With a
Yeah.
burning passion.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, give us the info.
So after you all disappeared, we had our work cut out for us. The Black Guard began marching through our ranks, and if we're being honest, basically mowing us down. Thankfully, due to the Dead King's horde and some very unorthodox methods, we were able to create enough separation between the units to kind of break them apart and pick them off. But many retreated. I believe out of we're estimating 6,000 soldiers in that unit, 6,000 total soldiers in the unit. We killed about 2,000 of them. We're not sure where they have retreated to. That was as of yesterday morning. Since then, we have been preparing and recovering, but we need to send out reconnaissance scouts, or we weren't sure if you were going to arrive anytime soon. But you also did an excellent job of gathering information. And so if you wanted to do that again, that would probably be a good option as well. But as long as there aren't too many other incursions in our way, we believe that we could march on Athala within the next couple of days.
Excellent. All right, so first, just to fully get it all figured out and settled together, first thing, figure out where the Black Guard went.
Yes.
Second thing, deal with whatever we find from the first thing. And then third thing, win by attacking Athala.
I like the third thing. That's a good one. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Do you know how many casualties we suffered?
We suffered about 1,200.
I thought you were
Well,
going to say
that's not as bad as
12,000.
it could have been.
That's what I was
I don't
thought,
even
too.
know if we have that
Just
many.
like-
That's
No,
all
that's
of our
the
soldiers.
entire. That's the entire army right there. That's the 10,000 moon elves plus 2,000 humans.
Okay, that's not that bad.
And
That's not that bad.
from your guess, how's morale? Do you think? Do you think the soldiers are ready to take on a feat like Athala? It's not going to be easy.
They won't have to worry about that.
It is very much dependent on how we frame Visen's death.
Ah, yes.
That's a Kathyr job. Kathyr's good at that.
Yep. Gonna
You'll
leave
know
that one
what
up
to do.
to the.
Yeah, he's got 2 hours on,
Special
on an
K.
owl. He's got 2 hours
Yeah.
on an owl to be really thinking about that.
DM question.
Uh-huh.
Averell.
Mm-hmm.
Do I know? Does Kathyr know Averell?
Yes. Yeah, you've met him a couple
Like-
times.
like-
You guys aren't like super close or anything like
Well,
that.
I
but you've met
don't
him.
know why. I don't know why. For some reason, he feels like the kind of guy that Kathyr did not get along with for whatever
Probably
reason
not.
back
No,
home.
he's like Visen is like the you and Visen are very much like stand up straight type dudes. You know, you follow the line to the letter. Averell is kind of like the hey, like I'm naturally talented, so I don't have to try as hard type of dude.
Mhm.
I like this guy.
What was that?
I like this guy. Jack's a big fan.
You know, it's kind of like I have enough talent that I don't actually have to work for it. Where you're the other way, or maybe not even the other way, but you're just very much like a hey, like no matter how much talent you have to work.
Right. Okay. That's yeah. Okay. Good. Because I kind of, even Drew kind of, for some reason, didn't like him. So it's good to
Fair.
know.
He's
Work it,
not
Kathyr.
terrible.
Work it.
Anyway, continue.
So that will depend very much on how we frame Visen's death. If we frame him as the martyr that he is, with the right combination of words, we should be able to inspire. But if we make a mistake, that could be extremely discouraging. Now, I was unfortunately not able to attend when you, Tarak, were creating plans with Visen over the use of your kin.
Mhm.
Do you have a plan for that?
All right. Well, a lot of it will depend on where the Black Guard went. There are also additional positionings of troops on the sides as well that could potentially provide reinforcements. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if the Blackguard retreated to the walls, that would probably be the best situation for us. Because I don't know. The biggest question is, when do we let the orcs start to do their thing? Because if we do it too early, then there's a potential to sustain too much damage before we reach the walls. The best thing would be to get as close to the walls as we can before encountering the Black Guard, and then unleash them. If the Black Guard are still pushed too far forward, we're going to actually have to use the troops that we have at hand to fend them off. But if the Black Guard has retreated to the walls, which would be a much more defensible position, that is honestly the best possibility that we have, because your troops, then all you have to do is fend the flanks off to prevent reinforcements from reaching us. The orcs can do the rest.
You're confident that your orcs can take the walls of Athala?
Max 5 days.
And you think they can just get through their reinforcements that easy?
Like the warriors, the soldiers that we have now?
I'm confident
think
that if you are confident that you can take the walls, and perhaps even if the Black Guard are defending it, I am confident that the rest of our soldiers should be able to take on the last of Oclaron's defenses.
I am fully confident in this.
Okay, and what do we do? Obviously, we have to get close enough to let the orcs loose, but, I mean...
I suggest
what after
infiltration through the sewer.
Right, we had talked about that, hadn't we?
So you're planning to go for the anathema?
Yes.
Who?
That thing. That's the mask one?
The group of masks.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The people with the masks, the big bad people.
Right.
Back me up on this, Riniya. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the like 6 masks that are all like stacked up on
like
each other.
face masks, like a totem mask.
Yeah, and what are
Crazy.
they called again?
The
anathema.
Okay, I've been talked over. I never got it.
It's a word. Something or someone that vehemently.
Easy for you to say.
You got it.
Nice.
No, I'm not gonna keep trying. But that's
their
the definition
proper noun, or is he just calling them that?
That's their name.
Okay,
gotcha.
That's the name of the group of wizards.
Gotcha.
It's like
I'm so excited.
Fate's Gambit and Anathema, same thing.
Oh, but diametrically opposed.
Exactly. Foes.
Nice.
Okay, so we move through behind enemy lines. We move through the sewers, deal with the anathema. Meanwhile, honestly, the orcs will not need guidance. This is what they do. This is what we do. You just let them do their thing, and we'll crack that mountain open like a can of worms. Is that a phrase? Is that a thing that people say?
What? Why are we canning worms? What is
I
that?
don't know. I thought
can?
that this was a thing that you people said.
I mean,
I've heard of fish
Like
being
the
canned,
ones that
like
aren't
sardines, anchovies.
I like this plan. Are you wanting us to send out our own spies, or are you wanting to go out yourselves to see where the Black Guard has retreated to?
I mean, we can only cover so much ground ourselves, but
Right.
Kathyr has the ability to fly now with a cool owl thing, and I have my way of getting around. So we can take two scouting groups, head out, and then if you also send your scouts out to discern where the Black Guard is, that would be primo.
All
Is
right.
that a thing that is said? Is that a word? Is that a thing?
Primo.
So
Primo?
primo. It's like first or good or great or best.
I'm pretty sure when Athala
fantastic.
was teaching me common phrases, he just made a whole bunch up.
Let us wait for Kathyr to return then, and once he does, we will send out our spies and go from there.
Awesome. Anyone know how to play backgammon?
I had not played that in so long.
You guys wait for Kathyr to return. He very quickly does. At this point, we'll say that conversation took like an hour or so.
We finish our game of backgammon.
You wait for a couple hours.
Now I've got gin. But this is
Kathyr, you
Found
arrived.
my piece again.
Kathyr, you've arrived.
Yes. Anything in particular I should know about?
Well, we don't know
Recap.
where the
Recap.
Blackguard is.
Okay.
So we should do that. We're gonna send scouts out. Are you okay with being like with your owl being a scouting group?
Sure.
Sick. In the
Edward, you're coming
time
with
that
me.
it took for him to come back, I would have summoned my bat as well.
Mhm. Hey, Aaron, real quick, remind me of attunement rules.
You can attune to
Short
3
rest?
items. You have it ruled as a short rest. Yes.
Short rest. Cool. Hey, Kathyr, do you want to attune to Bison's sword?
Yes, please.
Dang.
Cool.
Oh my goodness! Is
You're
the
gonna have
shield
2
being
cool
dropped?
swords?
Are you taking dual wielding?
I mean,
No.
technically speaking, the shield was dropped a long time ago because pretty much ever since like episode 10,
Oh,
Cathyr's
yeah,
just
you've
been
been
two-handing
two-handed
his
swords.
longsword.
Mhm.
But yes, my plan was to dual wield.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you won't be able to dual wield these 2 swords because Bison's sword is a great sword.
Nah.
Ow.
Wah, wah. Cathyr's strong. Just kidding.
He chucked a cannon.
I'll let you know
ballista just-
what it does at break.
Cool.
Awesome.
Good to know.
Yeah. Cool. You guys begin going out and scouting. Who's with Kathyr and who's with Tarak?
You two pick your choices.
I wanna-
Cathyr wanted Edward with him.
Yeah,
Renee
Kathyr
can be
wanted
with,
Edward.
Tarak.
And Tarak always wants to hang out with Riniya.
Honestly,
Yes.
you would pick
Let's
Renee
go.
over Edward.
Dream
Let's be real.
team.
Dream team, squad goals, pockets, let's roll out.
You guys head out.
Autobots, roll out.
Along with several other scouting groups. You guys take to the skies, trying to cover as much ground as possible, heading in different directions as well. Kathyr and Edward, we'll start with you guys. Anything particular you want to talk about? Okay, if it's not.
Let me just think.
Great.
One.
While you're thinking, go ahead and roll perception checks.
Okay.
Tarak and Riniya, you can also roll perception checks, either
Ooh,
separate or one with advantage.
Hey, Lydia.
It's a
I'll go with
25.
advantage.
Good at that.
Is that
Yeah.
wrong?
You can just take that one right there.
Somebody named Grant didn't have his character sheet up.
That's
So
crazy.
he's
Someone
so
named
bright
everyone
now.
else wouldn't have known unless you told us.
What you guys get?
10.
you first.
What
I
was it,
rolled a
Kathyr?
19 on die, so I'm doing good.
So 19 on die. Okay, can you give me
Plus-
total numbers, please?
I'm looking. I'm almost there. I'm
Oh,
so
His
close.
internet
sorry.
is spazzing.
I had
it's
my.
loading. I see.
It's my MacBook.
Oh no.
Wait for it.
This
Wait
will only
for
be
it.
a couple of thousand years. Hey guys, just so you know,
22.
Cool.
Lydia.
Riniya, what you get?
23.
23. 22,
Yeah,
22.
we beat the other team.
And Drew, what did you get?
10.
10. Okay, sorry. I
Wow,
heard that.
'cause
I'm sorry, I
I'm
rolled a
the
5
one,
on die, okay?
That's fine. No, you did great.
That's better than I
Hey,
would have done.
a
with
plus
mine.
5 is still really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm
True.
saying.
Kathyr
Plus
and
two.
Edward. Actually, quick question. Who's heading towards Athala? Great. Kathyr and Edward. You guys spend a couple of hours flying around. The designated amount of time, 2 hours. You spend those 2 hours flying around, heading north and south and all around. You do find that southern army that you guys didn't face, the one that was down off to the south, obviously. And it has migrated a little bit. It's migrating somewhat north towards the towards Athala, it looks like, but they're not going overly quickly. And they're kind of like they're way out what would be west as well, so they have quite a distance to go to get to Athala compared to you guys.
That's good.
But as you're traveling, not heading specifically to Athala, you do not see the Black Guard.
Great. Wonderful.
Okay.
Love it.
No.
So that's good. That's what we want to see.
In those 2 hours, is there anything that you guys do?
Cry.
Great.
Reaction.
Yeah, no, not particularly, unless Kathyr has anything to say.
Not at the moment.
Great.
Okay, we just are both kind of solemn, I guess.
Very nice. You guys quietly, dutifully look for.
I mean, we
the
probably
army, and
have a
thankfully
little
don't
bit of
find it.
small talk in there, but we don't even have role play.
No, it's 2 hours of you guys just sitting there in absolute
Yeah.
silence.
That works.
As
Just
Kathyr
silence.
wants to like break a neck. Tarak and Riniya, you guys spend your 2 hours flying around, but you were designated to go specifically look towards Athala. Probably the most dangerous of the assignments. You fly for, it takes about an hour and a half for you guys to fly there. Like it's a pretty decent ways away. As you approach, at first you can see the outline of the Lunankona mountain range, a mountain range that you guys haven't seen in actually quite a long time, probably a few months, even though it was home for you guys for quite some time. But you do approach the Lunankona Mountains before eventually heading to the very southern tip of it, where you know Athala rests. As you approach, you guys begin. Well, actually go ahead and roll stealth checks for me. Either both of you or one with advantage.
Hey, Lydia, how's your stealth?
My stealth, I got a +2.
Yeah, you want to take some advantage on that one?
Sure.
You're not too hot on the stealth zone.
Oops, we lost a die, but that's okay because it was a 1. We don't need that one. With advantage, that'll be a 19.
That's a lot better.
You begin flying low and slow to the ground to try and be as inconspicuous as possible, blending in with the ground and the night sky. You guys fly in before eventually stopping, probably 600 yards away or so, half a mile or so away, to begin searching. As you look out in front of you guys, you can see traces of encampment. No longer there, but you do see all of the towers that Athala has. All like, how many towers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the outer towers, along with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inner towers. All are lit with torches. They all have guards posted, all of them being black guards specifically. You do also see in the darkness creatures that I want to say slither, but not like a snake, but they kind of like wind their way and slither their way up and around the towers every once in a while before like looking out with their long necks and spread their wings before, almost like they're stretching on the towers before kind of curling back up. And
What are these again? I was reading a spell.
what was that?
What are these again? Are these
We
the
don't
weird
know
owls
what
things?
they
You
are.
don't quite know what they are. You're just
Okay.
seeing it's dark enough that you guys can't quite tell what it is. You're just seeing like the shadowy outlines. Like you can see something's there, but you can't see the details of it. They look very roll an intelligence check, just a straight intelligence check.
Hey, Lydia.
Am I doing this again?
Are we each able to do an intelligence, or can I give her advantage?
I'll have you guys roll individual intelligence checks just for the
Oh,
fun
it's
of it,
real,
just because I want to
sure.
make it roll.
I got a 5.
Nice.
How about a strong 17?
Okay,
Hey,
that's not bad. You guys, it's hard to make out the exact shape and figure, but they're somewhat draconic in nature, but not as large. A lot more spindly, a little more like gecko-esque, where they're like not really big, or like it's not like, you know how a dragon is like rippling with muscle? It's not like that. These look like big lizards.
does it have scales, or is it smooth?
You can't tell.
skin?
You can't make out the details. It's just the general figure and shape.
Is this a behir?
Is this like a salamander?
Kind of
But
like
giant?
a salmon. It's not a behir.
Okay, I'm like, if you get revenge on me for this,
I'm
I'm going to not be upset.
I will not be upset, but I would be. You also can see there are many guards all along the walls as well. The walls look probably a little bit taller than they used to. At least maybe to you, Riniya. Tarak has unwavering confidence in the orcs, but to you, Riniya, you're looking up at these walls that are, immensely tall, and having walked through them, that they're like 40-foot thick blocks of concrete and just massive and terrible and imposing. And there's 4 layers of them before you get to where you guys are going. And there's
Thick.
snakes and demons and fae and Blackguard and all these things. Oh my!
Light work.
Light work. Recovery day. So yeah, but you guys discover that the Blackguard have returned to Athala.
Awesome.
Okay.
Let's skedaddle on out of here. I
Let's
think
go.
we're good.
Yeah.
Although,
there we go.
real
I
quick,
need it.
just because I want to get a very apt description,
Uh-huh.
I would like to scry on the like weird salamander things just to get a real good look at it.
Okay. Let's pull up the thing.
And I'll just scry on the tower where it is.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
just the
Fair enough. I
location.
respect
rather than
that.
the creature.
Yep. And I think location, you don't have to roll anything, right?
Nope.
Yeah, it just does the thing.
Sadly, we don't recharge the scry, which is sad, but it'll come back later.
You scry on the tower, and it's still dark. It's hard. It's hard to make out fine details. Roll a history check for me with advantage.
Oh, that's much better. Okay, not if I miss my box. Okay. You said history, or one of those skills that I'm not proficient in?
History, yes.
How about a 19?
Okay. Yeah. It's history because you're looking into your own memory as you look down upon this tower, and see what you recognize to be the familiar outline and build of a Jabberwock.
Ugh,
Oh,
that's not fun. Hate those things. And all their slivey toes.
The poem does hit hard though. Let's be
It
real.
does.
Poem
Nice
slaps,
slaps.
bro.
All right, we
Banger.
skedaddle. I'm like, it's a jabber.
Nice.
Ah.
It's
You
not more than 1, 2.
And return, reconvening with everybody at the war tent. So, what have you discovered?
The Black God did retreat to Athala. That's good. We like that. They have Jabberwocks around the towers.
That's less
Not good. We don't
Not
like
a
that.
problem. They're like,
The
Not a
unwavering-
problem.
I don't know if it's concerning or inspired.
oh, you should be scared. You're gonna look. We're gonna win. You guys aren't gonna feel good afterwards.
Fear is your friend.
Yep, makes you run faster.
Maybe we shouldn't tell that to the soldiers.
No, yeah. Oh, by the way, Kathyr, we need you to give an inspiring speech.
Right.
Specifically.
I assume you've been crafting one up.
Of course.
It's like inspirational and not as depressing.
Yeah.
Yes, we need it to be inspirational and motivational and like frame Bison as the hero he was, not that it was really like scary and that we're all gonna die just like
Write that down, Kathyr.
yeah.
That's good.
Hey, Edward.
Scary.
I
All
don't
of
suppose you have some of your bardic words of vigor to spare,
Oh,
do you?
well, I'd be happy to help.
That's
if you,
lovely.
If you want me to, but you're the one making the speech here.
Yeah, just some light background
I'll
music,
just
maybe.
give you some input, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll
I mean, Pockets is
I'll
also
maybe get the
really
crowd
good
ready
at
with
like
some music.
motivating me. We could have Pockets do it.
I prefer Edward.
Not a great idea.
He's like,
Uh,
I am disgusted by
Red
it.
Eye like points out Pockets and he's like, ah. And then you're like, I prefer Edward. He's like, just like deflates.
It's okay. You can tell me, Pockets.
Also, it's not as pressing, but I think it's worth mentioning. We did see that southern army. However, they'll take a while to get to Athala, so we do have time.
Yes.
But it does look like they're heading this way.
Right.
As you guys are talking, excuse me, sorry.
Good.
It
Get
is
it out,
getting
man.
late.
Get it out, man.
It has been
As
a
you guys
long
are
day.
talking, some of the other scouts do pipe up, talking about 2 or 3 other encampments of soldiers that are spread across Ocleron, that could also pose an issue for reinforcements, but they don't look to be anywhere near as strong or as intimidating as some of the other units, and so it's not overly concerning. Just something to be aware of.
Good to know.
Sounds good. So,
I think it's bedtime.
when,
what time is
yeah, how do we wanna order this?
Right.
Like, Kathyr needs to give an inspiring speech to the troops,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got all the time in the world to do that.
Perhaps at the funeral or something. That's another thing on the to-do list.
Yeah, you should definitely say it without your shirt on.
Yes, I've
Much more
heard that's
helpful.
better.
I don't know. I think that might be
Why?
distracting.
If they are
Oh, there's-
inspired, it
I've
doesn't
just
matter
heard
where it comes
whispers.
from.
I don't
Eh.
think that's necessary.
Look, people need something to fight for, and people will fight for glorious muscles.
I think. His
Look, if they see your
brothers-
traps,
Im-
they'll know we'll win.
In regards
Exactly.
to when to give the speech, I don't think that should happen at the funeral.
Fair. Yeah, that's good. I
In
mean,
in Moon Elven culture, it's not exactly.
right. Forgot.
It's
Perhaps
not
the next day then.
Yeah.
It's a new morning, a new dawn, and we're ready to take on Athala. Huh?
Right.
Sounds good to me.
That's yeah.
Maybe after a good breakfast, some oatmeal.
Sure.
So, funeral tonight / today,
We can do
Uh,
this tonight.
yes.
and then we
And then
move.
tomorrow morning, we will gather the soldiers and prepare to march.
For a speech.
Before we leave, there will be a speech, as there is inspire the troops, make it so Vison's hero, whole 9 yards. Not that he-
Music and a podium.
We'll also explain the roles of the army and everything to obviously to the soldiers and the generals and stuff who need to
Yes.
command their troops. We
Yes,
can do that in the next coming days, but we should get a move on as quickly as we can.
I agree. Tiala, would you go begin letting the soldiers know about Visor? Yes, I'd be happy to. And she gets up, and as she walks past you guys, she just like drags her hand across Edward's shoulders, just kind of like it's an encouraging touch before she leaves. So she will let them know. We'll say about an hour. We'll have the funeral, and then go to bed.
Sounds good. I will also inform my leaders of the plan.
Right.
Sounds good.
Very nice. With you guys preparing to go have the funeral and to get ready, we're gonna take our break just a little bit early. Have like
Oh.
10 minutes,
Like-
10, 15 minutes.
We're
Give
making up
Drew,
for last week.
give Drew a little bit of time to write a speech if he wants. Do whatever.
Roger, get on it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm
He also
really,
gets a cool sword.
I'm really
It's
good
a
at
cool
last
sword.
minute speeches. We proved that last episode or something, right?
Pockets will help you.
I'm sure it's happened
It's
before.
okay. Anyway, we'll be back in 10 or 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We have lots of episodes to get through. Very little time to do it. Don't go anywhere.
Nice.
Nice. All right, and we are
Nice.
back.
Nice.
So, you guys have waited your hour. Tiala has spread the news of Vizen's death throughout the encampment and announced that there will be a funeral in the main area. In the meantime, a pyre has been prepared, just as it was with Kathyr's funeral. And the setup is very, very similar, where there's a massive pyre. Yes, true.
In the preparation for the funeral, Kathyr is also going to make sure that the other casualties, the other soldiers that have fallen, also have pyres made for them as well.
What pyres?
Okay. Aaron, I did not realize that. I'm sorry.
Just for some context, DJ sent me a message, but it was to Lydia, just telling
But I
Lydia to
sent
mute
it-
herself.
I accidentally
but she
DM'd it to
direct
Aaron.
messaged me.
So-
I don't know.
Wait,
Wait, like right? You need me to
Chewy?
mute myself
No,
now?
it was a while ago.
No, it was
It was
a while
like
ago.
before we
Sorry.
went to break.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Lydia,
I'm just laughing.
stop it.
I didn't do anything.
I love it.
So, Kathyr, you make sure that there are pyres for the 1,200.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And there are ways of doing it. So,
Basically,
depending on, so usually what would happen is, in a military standpoint, there is specific pyres for leaders within the military that have fallen.
Right.
And then there will be smaller piles that will represent a certain number of foot soldiers. And then typically those foot soldiers would have their own separate funerals with their families and loved ones. But in the military presence, it would be a representative pyre. And so,
yes, I just want
each pyre-
yes. I just want to make sure it wasn't just a funeral for Vizen because he
very, very good. I
Because-
highly respect.
Yes, especially because Vizen too never thought of himself above or more than any of the soldiers that he led. So,
Exactly. There ends up being about 13 pyres, one for Vizen and 12 for the 1200. All about the same size, same encouragement, or same representation. After about an hour, the rest of the army begins to gather around. And since this is predominantly an army of Moon Elven soldiers, there's really nothing said. There is no explanation needed as to the traditions. There's no eulogy. There's nothing that needs to be said, as in Moon Elven culture, that time is dedicated towards remembering good thoughts. But as that time goes by, as you all begin to, you all watch the pyres individually get lit and then burn for the next several hours, you do stand there and watch as many soldiers go up to different pyres, some up to Vizen's pyre, some up to pyres that represent their fallen comrades, their friends, allies, and place those sentimental items, letting them go join their friends and their allies up in Mount Celestia, and also representing letting that person move on and not be held back by the regrets of the living. Soon there are hundreds of items being burned, from letters to swords, armor, clothing, notes, different knickknacks. Many people put a lot of notes on Vizen's pyre. Sometimes that represents either literal notes that Vizen wrote to them, or sometimes it represents good memories that they had written down specifically to put on the pyre if they per se didn't have anything else. Obviously, you guys didn't know Vizen all that well, so probably didn't have anything representative of him, but is there anything that anybody would like to put on a pyre? Yes, Kathyr.
For Vizen's pyre, he will approach it and he will pull out an ornamental dagger that Vizen gave to him on the day he left home, and he will just kind of stab it into the wood of the fire and take a few steps back as he kind of just watches it burn.
Mhm.
You will be missed. And he'll just turn and stand next to the others.
You guys stand and wait for probably about 2 hours as the entirety of this army, basically in rounds, makes their way to the pyre, place their items. You being some of the leaders, along with Averell and let's see, I can't remember quite how many. The numerous generals they all are, basically stand resolute the entire time, representative of the steadfastness that you guys represent. As the soldiers cry, blabber, sit there in stoicism, and go through their ranks of emotions. As the pyres begin to slowly, finally come to a slow burn, no longer a roaring flame, but kind of just smoldering. Is there anything you guys would like to do with the rest of this evening?
I would like to go to Kathyr, but after it's like done.
Okay.
I'd like to do something real quick at the funeral, but right after it's kind of donezo.
Okay. So the funeral's wrapping up.
While we're still there, though, so
Yeah.
like the festivities are done, and Edward will turn to Kathyr, and he'll reveal that he is holding a knight piece from a chess game. And Edward, looking down, off, like not right at Kathyr, just says, "Kathyr, at your funeral, you weren't there to see it, but I presented a rook piece. And the whole idea was that the rook piece, well, it seems as if you have to do things just right to really make it count. But the rook piece, if played correctly, will sway the odds of the game greatly. And that's how I saw you. And while the knight piece, a little less subtle, but just as effective. And well, he was like you, but different. And so I'm going to present this. I wanted to wait till after because, well, I didn't really know him, but I'm doing this for the sake of him and the sake of you." And he goes to the pyre and puts the little knight piece there.
Thank you, Edward. You have no idea how much you honor me with that.
Well, might as well get to sleep. It's a long day tomorrow. Think about what you'll say.
Uh-huh.
Word of advice.
As
I head off.
as the funeral comes to the end, you all disperse, heading back to your individual tents, and we're left with a scene of these 13 charred piles of wood. One at the center with ornamental dagger sticking out and a small knight piece next to it. Riniya, you were going to go talk to Kathyr?
Mm-hmm. It'd be a little bit after everybody's kind of settled.
Mhm.
Where's Kathyr at?
He's in his tent.
In the tent. Does his tent have a bell?
Kathyr, does your tent have a bell out?
Sure.
Cool.
I don't want to ring the bell. It's loud, and I don't want to wake anybody, so that was a pointless question.
Do you have like the message cantrip?
Kathyr?
Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Riniya?
Can I come in?
Yeah.
Okay. And she kind of like poked her head in, and you can see that she's been crying.
What's wrong? What happened?
Hi. Hmm?
What happened? What's wrong?
We just had a funeral thing going on. And, it just made me think about yours.
Right. It didn't even dawn on me, really. You know, wasn't at mine.
I mean, you kind of were. How did that work?
Are you okay? Is there something you need to talk about?
I just wanted to see you.
Okay.
Make sure you were still alive.
I'm still alive, Rini.
I'm really sorry.
I am too. Kind of hit a hard a wall. I think they call it writer's block. With this whole speech thing.
Right, the speech thing.
Because, you know, it's hard to, I'm not very good at this whole acting thing.
Acting?
Well, I suppose I should explain a bit more. I told Edward before all this, it didn't matter if we actually were the hope of anybody. As long as we were that to them. We could just fake it.
But we are the hope, aren't we?
To them. But the reality is, we are just as mortal, and we also feel the pain of loss. Just as much as they do. And I'm sorry, I'm not exactly being very encouraging to you right now, but I don't have a lot of boastful words to give out.
Well, what words do you have to give out? She still just has her head poked in the tent, by the way.
You know, you can come into the tent. You don't just have to stand there awkwardly outside it.
Oh, okay. Just stands.
He'll just kind of pat like his cot. You could sit down if you want.
Okay. Just everything. What do you got? What's stuck in there?
Well, here. Let me read you what I got so far.
You wrote it down?
I mean, yes, as actually Kathyr is actually at like a small table.
You've got like cue cards and everything.
Well, he not cue cards. He just has a piece of parchment that you could see he's been writing on with a quill. Speeches aren't really my thing either. But I figured I'd actually try to figure something good out. But this is more or less what I got so far. My dear friends and comrades, I cannot express how proud I am to see all of us here on this day. But this day there are many who have been lost, and many that we wish were still here. But the pain of those that we lost cannot be the last memories we hold on to. For all of our friends and fallen comrades fought for what they believed in, and fought for the love of their friends and family. And while hate and anger is so close to sadness, we cannot let it consume us, for then we lose ourselves in it, and the purpose at which we are fighting for. Love, compassion, kindness. We're seeking to preserve these things and those who cherish it. It's more like a love letter than a battle cry.
Can I do an insight check on Kathyr?
Go, by all means. Please
Yay.
do.
100%.
Also,
Drew, tell me,
welcome
are
in,
you
Raiders.
keeping- are
Thank
you
you for the
keeping
raid,
secrets?
Imperfect Librarians.
Ah.
Are you keeping secrets?
I mean, secrets.
Pinky?
I mean, not really secrets per se.
You tell me. I'll let you tell me if you feel the need to make a freaking deception check. Thank you.
Sure, why not?
Great, go for it.
Ooh.
1,000.
That's a
Renai,
spicy
what
number.
you get for the insight?
I got a 24.
Funnier than that.
Okay, good. My deception isn't that good.
25.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
all.
oh, good. I did fail.
That's an 18 for me. Well, I mean, I figure I had to roll because Kathyr
He's
is
trying.
trying.
Drew wants her to read him. Kathyr does not. Yes. What's she getting, Drew?
Well, you could definitely tell Cathyr's very broken right now. That part's fairly obvious. He's very much trying to put on a brave face. You can also tell, especially from him reading the speech, that the whole idea of holding on to the ideas of love and kindness over hates were particularly hard for him to say.
What if I did the speech? I mean, you're more than welcome to, but Kathyr, I think you need a little bit of hope too.
You know, I miss him so much already.
I know.
I remember we used to run in the fields back home together. We used to... Well, it was just before we enrolled, actually. All the ladies, they loved Weizen. He was the show-off, the handsome, athletic winner of all the festivals and all that. But he never looked down on anyone. Not once. He never thought himself above anyone. And even in my lowest state of mind at the time, he was my first friend. And truly someone I called my brother. Kathyr then kind of just move over and sit next to Riniya on the cot and just kind of lean his head on her shoulder, if she allows it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never asked you, but how are you holding up? More recently, of course, isn't great, but you met the person that you gave up.
Right.
And I'm kind of mad at myself because I never thought to ask, since I might be the only person who kind of knows what that's like.
It's weird. I don't fully understand it, but I think past me did, and so I just have to trust her.
It's a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah. But once this is all over, Nada and I are gonna get dinner, and maybe I'll have a new friend. But all in all, I'd say I'm hopeful.
It's good. I'm glad. I hope it works out. Thank you, Riniya.
For what this time? I feel like every time we talk, it's you thanking me.
I would not be here if not for you or the others. And not just because of what you have done, but what it has prevented me from doing.
I'm
I'm
really
not-
happy you're here.
I'm very happy you are here, Riniya.
When Ryzen was going, did you see anything?
Yeah. I got to talk to him, actually. I thought I was prepared to do whatever it took to get my friend back. But it turns out I wasn't. And I have to learn to be okay with that. I chose to let go of him. Even if it is what he wanted, it still feels like it's my fault. Like I have some of the blame to share. And I know that's insanely cruel on myself for thinking such a thing. I can't help but think it. But the reality is we all have to learn to accept all that has happened in this war. And slowly, very, very slowly, take the next step.
He saved all of us, you know.
And I hate him for it. Maybe that's a little not quite true, but anyway.
Well, all I know is if you ever pull anything like that, I'm gonna kill you. Again.
Noted.
Okay.
He'll give Riniya another hug.
She hugs back. She holds on for a long time.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
Riniya,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would have been able to make that speech without you. So thank you.
You wanna do it?
I have to do it.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, Grant.
Good job, guys.
Well, Grant,
Ruining
don't worry,
it.
guys. I'm
That
not
was
going
so
to
good.
abuse the soundboard that I have. Don't worry, it'll be fine. I'll only use it when
was
it's
too
tasteful.
good.
Aaron, if you wouldn't mind removing Grant's shared
No,
abilities.
no, please.
I'm driving to
please.
your house and I'm taking it.
And have you could just make it so he doesn't have the ability to share screen on Zoom, you know?
No,
I could.
please.
Uh,
It's my friend. It's episode
it's
69.
the only
Get in
you
the
have after
spirit.
that. We are yours.
Yeah.
So
They go to bed after that. Or at least
Yeah.
Kathyr
you
does.
guys, you just pass out. Renai just stays there staring at you.
No.
Just instantly.
You guys go to bed. You wake up in the morning.
In the morning.
You wake up to the hustle and bustle of soldiers preparing to march as they're packing up their tents, rolling up their bedrolls, sharpening their weapons, whole 9 yards. I know you guys wake up earlier than the rest, but we're just going to start when everybody's awake. Let's say, you guys are getting ready to leave in probably the next 30 minutes or so, maybe an hour. And so you have to get ready, pack up your own stuff, and get ready for the march. Is there anything specifically you'd like to do? Great. I love it. You
Edward
guys...
gives Kathyr some tips is all. Like, you really want to make them see your emotions. It's not just words. It's about expression. And he gives him a few tips on public speaking, and that's it.
Great. Does that count as a bardic inspiration?
Sure.
Yeah, I also would love to back you up with some flute music. but
Oh my gosh, no.
No.
just can I at least
You've
kick it
lost your
off
sound
with,
privileges.
No.
No.
Just kick it
No.
off with a
No.
tiny little flute
No.
flutter, right?
No.
Please?
No.
Huh? Please?
Should have thought about that before you did the nice.
I did think about it.
Or not hard
And
enough.
you just didn't care.
Well, Edward is backing up with some flute music, even though you guys won't let me play the flute, even though the audience loves the flute.
So,
Don't speak
yeah,
for
I do
other
give
people.
I do give you bardic inspiration.
Thanks, Grant. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah.
You all wake up, you prepare, you roll up the bedrolls, you pack up the tents, you sharpen the blades. And in what feels like should be too soon, there should be more time. Kathyr, you, along with Riniya and Edward and Tarak and Tiala and Biero and all of the other important people in your life, find yourselves on the deck of the Dead King's Horde once again, floating ever so slightly above the army that has now found itself looking up to you for inspiration and for hope. You step forward.
No pressure. No pressure.
You can give your speech.
Kathyr will just he'll step up to the ledge for a moment.
Edward starts playing flute.
Just kind of pause there for a second and look back towards the group and momentarily make eye contact with Rinny. And turn back to face the army. My friends and allies, we have accomplished much together, and I cannot express how proud I am of all of us for the sacrifices that we have all made to get to where we are now. And it is days like today that we especially must remember those sacrifices. Our friends, our allies, our brothers and sisters in arms, who willingly laid down their lives so that we might live. So that we might fight on for them. And it is no small feat that this happens. But it is the brave, courageous, and steadfast hearts of all of you who make this possible. Without you, there's no freedom for Athala. Without you, there's no freedom for Oclaron or Rivaluna. Without you, there is no Fate's Gambit. There is no hope. But you are that beating heart that presses on. I know all of you look to me, look to us, to give you strength and guidance. But it is you who gives us strength. It is you that allows anything, any change to come of this world. And today we march forth, remembering those who laid down their lives for that same cause and purpose. And we will not let it end in vain, but we will see this through to the end, so that no one will have to go through this tragedy and heartbreak ever again. For Athala and Oclaron!
You get a roar of cheers and encouragement as you lay out this inspirational speech. Just as you are going for Oclaron, for Athala, the Dead King's horde begins pulling forward ever so slightly.
Cue the band. Dun, dun,
As
dun,
you cue the band,
dun,
exactly.
dun, dun,
Rex up there.
dun, dun, dun.
You guys begin moving forward as you once again begin to return to Athala, the place where you all met. You guys press on. After about 3 days of marching, you come up and you crest one of those slightly, it used to be farmland, is now pretty barren, not being tended to or cared for. But you crest one of the hills and you find yourselves looking upon the walls of Athala. There are the Black Guard, the soldiers, what you now know to be a couple of Jabberwock patrolling. What would you guys like to do?
It's orc time.
Edward says,
Just-
it's home.
You just airdrop them. Just airdrop the orcs.
100%. If they get a message on their phone, it's like, what's that?
That's what I might.
Yes, thank you, Lydia. I
So-
was trying to make the joke there. Yes.
It's been a long journey here, friends. I haven't seen home in so long.
Grant,
This
I was
doesn't
thinking that
look
same
like
thing.
home.
Oh, are you doing a little Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz thing going on here?
No place like home. There's no place like home. There's
You
no
just
place like
disappear, you
home.
teleport
Correct.
away.
Nice.
We're like, oh.
Nice.
She goes and she's like with her grandfather again.
She's like, oh, this is
Oh
not
no!
what
Go back! Go back! Go back!
Key in the door. Key
That's
in the door.
Riniya!
We're taking Athala this day. Ow.
Correct. I believe that's what you want to do.
Well, so I was told in a previous episode that it would take about an hour to get the orcs out of there.
Yeah.
So when we're about, I would like to do it so that way, like from their position, it would be hard to see what exactly is happening. Like I don't want to do it in an open field where it's just like one by one an orc appears
yeah.
because that'd be awkward. So I want to do it like
Single file line.
like
I just-
I like go back before we crest the hill so their
Yeah.
line of sight is blocked.
A lot of hill
gonna-
cresting
Yeah,
today.
so the army kind of comes up and it rests on the hill, so they almost create like a wall, like almost a distraction. And what the heck is going on?
I'm just thinking about how this episode isn't sponsored by the toothpaste Crest because we've said it so many times, and that's just making me giggle. Also, Lydia's giggling at all the noises that have been being made by people hitting things.
Aaron, are you gonna mute him or not?
I am
so all
so
around, it's
tempted
just
to
a
just
giggle
put him in the
fest.
waiting room, dude.
But we're ready. Go ahead, crest your hills. do
Okay,
your
great.
thing.
We
Anyway,
brush our teeth, you know.
I make sure that the like elves and generals and all those things know to get their people ready to make like lines to like fill in the area and stuff like that. Do all the war stuff. Then I'll go get the orcs out of the pyramid. I'll actually send because if you manually go into the pyramid yourself, you end up with the like hologram, right?
Yep.
So I'll shorten the time, but I'll send all the 6 Tanar in to each send out their people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
each person takes 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, to just kind of trim down the time. I'm waiting for them there. We get them all into a thing. I've also asked for the other 3, Riniya, Edward, and Kathyr, to be down because I want them to be present at the interaction because I'm not a scumbag. And it's just
Will
this is
do.
me time.
Also, congrats, Raiden, on winning bingo. Good job.
Wow.
Happy for you.
Yeah, so I get them out of the pyramid, and then there's
Yeah.
a bit of interaction that I'd like to do before I'm gonna give a speech. It's a speech episode.
Speech.
So,
speech.
for the rest of Fate's Gambit, you guys watch as Tarak slowly out of this pyramid that you guys obtained several months ago. Massive orc after massive orc appears, and it's interesting because you guys haven't seen you guys didn't grow up with orcs around, and the orc that you're most familiar with is Tarak, and you guys haven't seen the Tanar in a little bit. So when these 8 to 10 foot tall orcs start busting out of this tiny pyramid once again, and you start getting a big group of them, you start to feel the weight and the power that they carry with their confidence and their attitude and the
smell.
sheer.
They all
The-
have a spawn in
the
pose.
Yep, we T-pose in.
They're like slightly
Just
above
begin
the ground,
T-posing
and then
in
they
front of
drop
Athala.
and start walking.
Then they enter into their idle mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them are just
After an
eating
hour or
turkey
so,
legs.
all 6,000 of the orcs, the shield bearers, the spear bearers, as well.
But yeah, there's spear bearers, the
I
spears
heard
of Ilnaval.
Yeah.
You've got shield bearers. You've got plague bear. We have a lot of bearers.
Are there any
Uh-huh.
death
I
cow
love
riders?
bears.
I can't remember.
There's the breachers,
Yeah,
you have
Breakers
the
of
shattered
Bog,
blade, you have the
true.
nurtured, the white
Yeah.
hand, whole
Oh,
nine
we
Are
yards.
there
got 'em all.
war cows? War cow riders? Is
Yeah,
that
we
a
do
thing?
have.
yeah, the breakers of bog true.
Yep, they are
Uh,
the cavalry
Breakers.
unit. Cavalry, excuse me.
Before you
Um,
stands this army of orcs, and after a little bit, Tarak pops himself out of the pyramid.
My leg gets stuck.
So
Um,
Tarak.
yeah, I turn to the group, and they're not exactly an orderly orc, so it's a bit loud. I'm like, all right, I know that we have already had
like speeches in the past couple of days. I'm gonna give one, and then I suggest if you are, weak of stomach or heart, you try to not watch what's about to happen in the next couple of days as much as possible. All right, let's get to it.
He'll turn to face the orcs and he'll like nudge Vark Garim to like hold up a hand to quiet them.
It goes deathly quiet.
I go,
Orcs.
and also this is in Orcish.
Ah.
This is in Orcish, so it takes like half the time, but I don't want to do that in Orcish, so this is what it would be if it was translated.
We stand today on a precipice. Behind lies the void, but before us sprawls the empty sky. On our side stand the soldiers of elves and men who claim they know war. We will prove them wrong. I need not tell you your roles. You have been trained for this since birth. Through our strength, we will break them upon their walls like water against the rocks. We shall spread fear through them like a disease, and they shall choke on their own blood. By our will, we shall conquer them. Guided by Grumsh, may your blades strike true, your heart beat for even one moment longer, and your death be facing forward. For it is across the backs of the fallen we shall achieve victory worthy of our kind. On this day, we are more than creatures made by the drow, more than mindless monsters. We are orcs, we are free, and we are war incarnate!
And then I send
Yeah!
Wow,
Nice.
Aaron, way to just
Nice.
dunk on me, just make me look like a
Okay.
I've been
pleb.
prepping
Wait,
this speech
hold
for
on.
the past 6 months.
Hold on.
Drew. He's been working out for a while. Holy crap, Aaron.
Well done, Aaron.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
They erupt into cheers and roars that make the very walls of Athala shake. At which point, the army of elves standing before you, there's a little blare from Averell, and they split like the Reds. At which point, the orcs begin charging forward, knowing their duties, knowing their positions. The shield bearers and the thrall begin marching forward. Actually, because you will do a better job, explain to the crowd exactly what they begin to witness as the orcs begin to make their siege on Athala.
So the Orcish siege on Athala is split into a 3-pronged attack. We have our main unit that is going to be the biggest threat towards the city, which is composed of mainly shield bearers and one massive orc that probably stands around 15 feet tall. That would be known as the Juggernaut orc. On his back, there is a smaller orc that appears to be carrying what is similar to a censer. You're not exactly sure what the deal is for that. Surrounding him, there are armed orcs with spears, kind of in an X formation that bristle out like a porcupine from just a bunch of shield bearers. They are running forward at breakneck speeds. Above, there fly just a legion of war bats
There's
that
a
also
cloud of
carry in
bats.
their arms Urtrus's nurtured, which are the ones that are infected. And periodically, as they get closer, once they get like above enemy lines, they will literally airdrop infected orcs into the enemy lines, then sometimes swoop down and just stab someone before flying away.
By infected orcs, you mean diseased orcs?
Diseased orcs that
will
are
spread
You can
disease.
that literally just have 2 machetes.
You can
And
think of
just
the
start
nurtured
chopping things
as
up.
like living chemical warfare bombs.
Yeah, they're bio warfare. Then behind them, you have the more long range. The orcs do have spellcasters. They're a lot more limited, and you can see that there are some like war bats, and there are also stealth groups that are attempting to infiltrate in through and over the walls in that attempt. The Tanar have not fully engaged, although there is a cavalry unit of the Breakers of Bogtrue running through on Aurochs, basically just like weaving through the lines of the enemy, causing as much chaos and fear as possible. They are led by Dragu, and then Vart Garim is with the main force of like orcs that kind of surrounds and moves in a V-shaped formation. kind of to the side and a little bit in front of the Juggernaut unit, and he is leading them. But the remaining Tanar are in the back. It appears as though Ilmaval is Kogan is his name. Kogan is surveying the field. You can see that at times he will literally shift units, like they will disappear from one location and appear in a different location. Omlasha doesn't do a whole lot. If you ask Tarak, he will tell you that she will enter the combat about halfway through to 3/4 of the way through. Vruth, the Tanar of Yurtris, isn't doing a whole lot, and Gorza is nowhere to be seen because that is not his purpose. You can see that that Vruth, the Tanar of Yurtris, is preparing to cast a spell. You are not sure of exactly what the purpose of that spell would be.
Very nice. You guys watch this scene fall before you. There aren't a lot of soldiers on the outside of the walls, and what few are immediately picked off. As they begin to really break in siege, you guys watch as around the rim of the crater that Athala is built into, massive runes break free from the rock, creating this spell of protection that creates almost like a shield in front of Athala. This does not deter the orcs really whatsoever. They push through and begin throwing themselves literally against the shield. You also see as many of the towers have massive catapults on top of them where they will chuck huge chunks of rock that blow and barrel through a lot of soldiers and all of this. And you guys begin to see this scene of intense warfare between almost like a group of possessed men. Kind of how they act is how the orcs are, where they're in this massive frenzy. They're almost like they have rabies, is kind of how they go about this, versus the very structured, very like organized way of defense that Athala has set up. And it's a push and pull, because as they go back and forth, there are times where the shield gets weaker and weaker and weaker, and it's on the verge of breaking, and then it comes back and forth. And this is all, as you guys watch, within the first few hours. Clearly, this is probably the most effective method, as Athala has been known as the unbreachable city. There has never been a siege in the history of Athala that has ever been successful.
Yes, sir. That's my home.
Very much so.
Not anymore, but we kind of got sieged in a way.
But this is what it's famous for, is its defensive capabilities. And you watch as throughout all of your knowledge of history, especially for you, Edward, this is the closest it's come to what it seems like the closest it's ever come to being breached, and it's only been a few hours. As that's going on, you guys have a job to do, I believe. You guys,
I'd love to watch this go down, but don't we have something to do?
Yes, we must head to the viaducts. I don't know if that's the right word. The sewers.
I don't think that's right, but we'll go with it.
I think viaduct is a bridge that goes over water. A viaduct would be more of like
Underwater?
a below ground thing.
Didn't we call the bridges that go over trains viaducts?
Yeah,
that's
that's
what we
also
call
a
them
viaduct.
here, but we could be wrong.
yes, Riniya.
When we're getting ready, like once we're like actually like moving kind of deal, are we like, wait, we're going through, hold on.
Land should be
Sewers.
Wherever we're going, do we want me to send pockets ahead and keep the eyes out?
Not a bad idea.
Absolutely.
Okay. Pockets, you know the drill.
Alright,
Okay.
turns
guys.
into a bat and then turns invisible.
I've heard these sewers can be complex, but I think if we keep our heads on and don't panic and we keep quiet, we should be able to make it through.
So, for the children at home, explain to them what you're doing.
Well, the goal is we're gonna go into the sewers because the sewers connect into the city. We're gonna hope, honestly, it would be best if it would be the sewer that we're familiar with.
Yes.
And then once we're gonna get there, we're going to, I mean, let's be honest, we know where they're gonna be, which is the same place that Prozius was like 9 times out of 10.
Like
right?
Capitol building of
Yeah.
sorts or whatever it was called.
So
yeah.
we're gonna get in there. We're going to take our bats because the only way that we know how to get to that level is to go to the prison, go to the teleportation place, teleport into the building, and call it good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although if there is a direct route, that would be better.
I mean,
Would Edward know? Because Edward.
well,
would be
okay,
the
now
most likely
now
to
hold
know.
on, DM. There is a direct route to the prison. Because that's what Malora and I took to get out the first time.
Yeah, the stairs.
Yeah. So we
Ooh,
could do
would that
that.
be better?
Because
Ugh,
basically
stairs.
That's super.
because
physical.
basically the sewers will get us out into the second level. We can make our way up to the third level to where the tavern place was, that then connects up to the prison.
That's a great idea.
And then after we get into the prison, we go to the teleportation circle.
Sewers, stairs, teleportation circle. We beat up this wizard man.
Yeah.
I'm in. Sounds good.
Everybody, hands in.
I put my hand in and then I grab a hold of Edward and I look through pockets.
Fate's Gambit
Okay.
on 3. 1, 2, 3.
What is-
She can't
Fate's
hear us,
Gambit.
she's just like,
Oh, it's okay.
Riniya can't hear.
I know. She's doing
Um,
important things.
you guys. So first of all, you have to get to the sewer.
We do have to
So
get
there's
there,
this
don't we?
raging battle over
Yep.
here.
Yep,
Then
there
off
is.
on the side of the mountain.
Yep.
Off over here, you guys kind of go around. And just
Yeah.
kind of avoid. Every once in a while, you'll
Do,
like
do,
a
do.
knife or like a blade or an axe will like come flying towards you guys, and you have no clue how that's even possible, because it literally just got thrown like several hundred yards.
Yeah.
Heavy like war axes. But they land. They embed themselves.
Some orc just rushes over, grabs it, and like runs back into the battle.
Yeah, no, you guys going, and then you look over, and you see this figure in the distance who is approaching way faster than should be humanly possible. Just come, grab the blade, and then leave.
It's straight up when you accidentally like hit the ball into your neighbor's yard.
Yeah, the craziest thing is we're on the side of a mountain. So this
Oh.
thing just like hiked half of a mountain and like
Yeah, this thing just ran like,
it's
probably like 2 miles in like 10 minutes. Like they're
using
straight up 5-minute
trees
miles.
to just vault himself
That,
forward.
that
with his
one
arm.
lives. Juggernaut perspective.
Epic.
You guys find yourselves there's a string of like 3 or 4 pipes that they're not even pipes, they're just like carved out rock formations that come out on the side of the mountain and lead into what you guys know as the sewers. You also know that there are a number of catacombs that Kiyomura would use throughout these sewers to hide the mothers and children that were potentially potential subjects for Melancina's experimentations.
Yep.
Way back when.
And
way back when
Riniya has
Kiyomura-
done a little bit of exploration in these sewers, right?
You guys have
Yes.
been in them a little bit.
We've all been
Yeah.
in them.
Okay, go ahead. How do I want to do this?
Really
Edward-
easily that we don't have any chance to fail.
Edward, make a history check.
Oh, yes, I
Riniya
love
went with
this feature.
Kiyomura after
Yeah.
the time jump thing, where there was all the the bot things.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
I get
and
advantage since I've lived.
sure. Yeah, I'll give you advantage. We'll say this is the group check. Edward with advantage is the group check.
Please tell me that's a good.
25.
Okay.
That's a
That's
good.
better than 24.
That's a good.
So,
This sewer system, and especially since it kind of bleeds into the catacombs, is expansive. Edward, knowing a little bit of the history of Athala, this right here is why Athala can last forever. Because in a traditional siege where you're trying to just kind of like starve out the enemies or the people within the city, this is what kept them alive, as they have so many secret hidden tunnels that lead outside of the mountain to the backside of the mountains to reserves of food and water and resources and everything like that. This is why Athala is partially unbreachable. First of all, the defenses are unbreachable from like an attacking standpoint, but then from a siege standpoint, they just can last forever because they can always be replenishing their supplies.
he shares the gist of that just because
Yeah,
he is excited about it and he thinks it's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Athala is an awesome city. It makes your job a little bit difficult. Having been in the equivalent of probably like 1% of the catacomb/sewer system, it's hard, but you do begin making your way through it. Every once in a while, you'll take a turn, you'll go like a couple feet, and then you go, I'm not quite sure. You'll turn around, But you begin making your way through the sewers and the catacombs in honestly a pretty efficient manner for the amount of knowledge you actually have about this system. After a couple hours of weaving your way through, the sounds of battle constantly echoing in the distance, you do finally see light at the end of the tunnel, literally. As you poke your heads up, and there's grates in front of these that have to be lifted up and stuff like that, but you poke your heads close to the grates to kind of see what's going on. And at that very moment, a group of soldiers like marches over you guys as they're beginning heading towards the wall to reinforce you guys.
What a good
all
scene! They're marching over the grates, and we're like hiding under the grates.
looking at it like, oh,
So
he has
good.
gum under his shoe.
Where did they even get gum?
Where did they even get gum?
Let's go.
Goat DNA. That's a throwback to junior high. Oh my gosh.
And
Anyway.
then pockets
Donuts.
can go out 100 feet from me, but no farther. Kind of
Wait.
deal.
Yeah, this whole time Pockets has been helping Guy to make sure that there's no that you guys don't end up going down like a dead end or down a tunnel that doesn't really lead you anywhere. And so he's been helping a lot with that.
What a champ!
Guys, honestly, MVP. Like between Edward and Pockets, you guys would not have been able to
the
do
dream
this.
team, the combo.
Hey man,
That's high
Edward's and
praise.
Pockets is my favorite ship.
I ship it.
Edward.
Nice.
You know, I want to be
Hogwarts.
upset, but I almost can't. You guys find yourselves on the grates beneath the second level. You know,
I think this is
I
it.
believe that you are fairly close to the trading area, that large assortment of stalls and shops. I think if I remember correctly, I believe it was called the stalls. If I remember correctly.
I
Sounds
can't
right.
recall. This is
think
a
so.
throwback, dude. This is
I
like
know we're
where it
talking about like
started.
episode 10. Like this is
I
like
don't have notes from back then.
this is before
No,
Lydia
this
was
is
a
even.
note-taker.
This is even
Blasphemy.
earlier.
This is
I mean,
this is
we
the
started
Still
off
my group
in,
shot
like episode
started pretty
1
much
with Athala for the most.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Long time ago. Throwback.
It's been a long journey here.
As you listen, I will have either one check with advantage or two people can make perception checks.
How about one check with advantage, Riniya?
I
Yes.
think that's a good choice.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We're
Her
playing this safe,
perception is
boys.
stacked.
We're playing it safe today. We're not losing this battle.
Hey, that's a nat 20.
Alright.
Make it a 28.
She hears through. She's like,
She puts her
sense
finger out.
them. I can sense the weave. The magicians, they're there.
You look around and listen.
What do you hear with your elven ears?
As you look out, you think for now it would probably be a decent time for you guys to exit the sewers and begin making your way through the second ring towards the third ring.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
And Kathyr knows where the stairs are, the like hidden stairs to this
To this place
to the
thing.
place. I forgot what the
Uh,
secret like.
Yes. So
little-
basically, it was there in the really fancy hotel inn tavern thing that we went to
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
Havel had a secret connection to.
Yeah.
In
Yes.
their back office room, there was a bookshelf that would
Gotcha.
move that revealed a staircase that led further up, in that would eventually take us into the prison.
Hey guys, this is DJ's cool map that he drew.
This is Athala for those of you who are.
Could you move it just a little closer so we can get a closer pick and then zoom out? I guess.
Eh.
Oh, dude,
No,
it's
that's
so good.
How's that? That
Yeah,
good?
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're over here right now. This area is called the stalls. What you're gonna do is you're going to make your way up. I believe there's that staircase. You guys have to make your way through the stalls to the center staircase. This used to be the home of the gods. This is a destroyed area that Brazius destroyed.
Yep.
R.I.P. Kathyr.
F.
Yep.
And then you have to come over here in between this tower and this house, which is fairly close. This one's Edwards, I believe.
Yeah, I'm somewhere up there. I
That's
think you're
nice.
But between these two, there's magic floating stairs that go way up, way over here into the ceiling of Athala.
We're literally only a few properties away from like where Edward grew up.
Yeah,
Once we get up there, that's
It's
crazy.
pretty great. I'm gonna have you guys go ahead and make a stealth check for me. Each
A group
individual
stealth?
person.
I don't suppose that we conveniently have the,
Like
the stealth thing.
Like a
do
pass
we?
without a trace.
Like pass without a trace? I don't
That-
think anyone has that, right?
That would be real convenient if someone did have that.
Well, I'm sure it'll be fine.
All right, I got a dirty 20.
That's good. Is this one of those group check things where we just need to like beat 50% success?
Maybe.
I sure hope so.
I got a 19.
Okay.
20, 30.
Dirty
Nice.
20? Yeah.
True.
I love when he
Good
makes that face.
22.
Nice.
Oh, that's good.
Ghosts
I
through
didn't
this.
even know it was possible for you to get above a 20 on a stealth check.
I mean, my
Amazing.
stealth, I'm proficient in stealth.
Oh, well, that changes everything.
And the fact that my mithril plate doesn't give me disadvantage on stealth checks.
We're there.
It's,
Nice.
it's good. Kathyr has slowly been like putting on the like legendary items to just make himself not be handicapped.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Uh,
One of these days, I will be able to dual wield a great sword and a long sword, and DJ
One
will
day.
not be able to stop
never
me.
gonna happen. Your
One
four
day.
Just when
will
you're
be
a
that.
minor god.
Yeah.
You're
Enlarge
gonna
reduce
get.
on
You
one
gotta
arm.
get 2 more arms, and then you can do it.
No. I'm gonna
Future
get
General
a
Grievous.
belt of giant strength, and DJ then can't deny me at that point.
It's funny.
Do we do it?
Did we do it? Are we sneaky?
Did we win?
You guys begin making your way through the stalls. Edward, it's a very emotional experience for you.
Yeah, it is.
Uh,
Okay, I would like to ask actually, what's the state of the surroundings? Is it kind of how it was left, or is everything like utterly trashed? You know, like what's
Everything
going
is
on?
trashed. Most of the houses and most of the stalls, stuff like this, they've all been converted into makeshift places for soldiers to sleep. Sometimes it's not soldiers, sometimes it's fae, it's monsters, it's jabberwocks, it's dragons. This has been the breeding ground of everything wrong with the world.
Nice.
Not
Yeah.
nice.
Nice.
As you
Not
make your way
nice.
through the stalls specifically, it is a barren ghost town. You all remember this place as this jaunty, lively, loud, cultural place where you could get basically anything. You could go get fresh baked bread, or strawberries, or diamonds, or mithril plate, or literally anything. Everything and anything was sold in this place, and it was bustling. It was one of the heartbeats of the city. And now it is completely empty. Many of the stalls are broken, they're torn, there's papers everywhere, there's broken beams everywhere, there's shattered
Does
pots.
Edward see where the old dwarf guy that lent his jacket was?
Oscar
How do you
was
remember
that
guy's name?
dwarf. Oscar was
Yeah, Oscar the like carpenter or something, or smith maybe.
he was a blacksmith. He was the first Alistar dwarf that you guys met.
And he lent
with-
me his jacket.
He did lend you his jacket. He
And
also
now
spared.
his shack is. If anybody who sees Edward, he looks quite distraught about the thing. Except, he's just silently pushing it down and looking more purposeful. I guess that's what he's doing.
Riniya is still holding on to you, because she's
Nice.
just looking through pockets.
'Cause
Edward's grip
pockets.
is kind of
As
tightening
you
a bit,
get-
but not in a painful way. Just like.
As you get towards the end of the stalls, Pocket's Riniya, you do see through Pocket's eyes another group of soldiers rushing forward. So you guys stop and tuck away, completely like you just disappear on the wall. You're like chameleons or whatever. You just like disappear, you know.
I hid from Graz'zt. Their eyes are nothing to me.
Don't move.
You then slowly begin making your way back around to the very front of the second level, where you see the back and forth zigzagging staircase that leads up the probably about 100-foot tall wall of the third level. You begin making your way up the stairs, trying to rush as quickly as possible, as this is probably the most exposed location that you guys are going to be at, moving up and down this wall. You move very, very quickly, making your way up the 100 feet of stairs before finding yourselves in one of the parts of the city that's actually basically the same as it was, which is the home of the gods.
Nice.
Which was already
destroyed.
Yeah, that's not nice. Sorry, Kathyr.
Punished.
I thought you meant
immediately.
like Edward's home place, but
No.
not nice.
You find yourselves in the home of the gods, the home of all the temples that were allowed to be in Athala. Each and every one of them destroyed, with their bronze statues of each of the gods broken, battered, thrown out in front of them. Many of the pyres have been flipped over, and some have even, like, you can tell that they've been like pieces of them have been taken to be made into armor and stuff like that, as this place has basically just been looted of all of its value and left for nothing. As you get up to the top of it, though, you're beginning to get up to the top. Yes, Kathyr.
I was just gonna say, as we're, I mean, as again, we're trying to be quick about this, but as we are passing by, Kathyr does actually slow his pace for just a moment as he, like, once again, kind of looks at all the destruction.
You guys haven't quite actually gotten to the home of the gods. As you get to the top of the stairs, you guys do hear voices of soldiers. There are 2 of those massive catapults that have been constructed, that are new additions to the city, that have been built on this level where some of those temples are. And you can see, as you guys peek up and around, that soldiers and ogres are lifting pieces of the temples into these catapults and using those blocks to chuck at the orcs and the opposing army.
That's not
Edward
cool.
instantly like notices and basically like grabs Cathyr's arm and says, "Look, I know it's not right, but listen, we have to try to get by here. We can't cause a ruckus or it's going to be bad.
Kathyr is
Just
fuming.
keep your cool, man." What?
Kathyr is fuming. You can
I know
feel
he is, and
like
Edward-
Guys, why
radiating
we stop? We need
up.
to keep moving, guys. Pockets is getting ahead.
If we can just get past here, we can maybe have a chance. Kathyr, don't blow it, man.
I'm gonna have everybody go ahead and roll another stealth check for me.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm keeping an eye on Kathyr. Kathyr, and by Kathyr I mean Drew. I want you to know that Tarak will, with sheer eye contact, just be like, "I'll follow your lead, bro."
No.
I'm just
Okay.
saying, like, I'm ready.
That is not what I.
For a
Since
fight.
since we've stopped, Riniya kind of thinks we're good to like talk now. She's like, "Okay, guys, yeah,
Cat-
what's good? Go on."
Okay, Kathyr
Would you-
does resolve himself a little
Uh-huh.
bit. He doesn't just
Uh-huh.
go into a rage. He doesn't multi-class into barbarian all of a sudden and
Thank
go into a
God.
rage. Stealth checks.
10.
10. Okay.
Did you got a 10?
Yeah.
10Z.
15.
So far, so good.
15 as well.
Hey.
Smite night up in here in the house.
It's Might Night. That's on the bingo sheet. That counts.
So
Why'd we
I
stop?
guess it does.
What's going on?
you guys
Can't
stop.
see.
In front of us.
If it was not for the fact that these ogres are grunting at the fact that they are lifting like 2-ton boulders constantly, because these things are going.
They're complaining
they're-
about their jobs.
They're tired, dude.
Bro, they got me working weekends too, you know.
They're doing this for hours. They're basically, if you look at it, they've basically thrown the equivalent of a temple, each catapult. And there's 12 temples.
grabbing the floor pieces. Those are the heaviest.
If it was not for
The
that,
pillars are slippery though.
you would have been discovered. Thankfully, though, they are indisposed at the moment, and you guys are able to make your way along the inside of the wall, past them, towards Edward's home.
Whoa.
Yes, Tarak, I see you rolling dice.
Can we see Edward's home?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Yes,
what
Aaron?
type of launching devices are these things?
Oh,
Catapult.
Are they catapults or
Catapults.
are they trebuchets? Like, what type of catapult?
Types of catapult.
Like, are they a single
I
rope?
really
Google's
gotta go to the
catapults?
bathroom.
Go,
I'm
go,
gonna
Greg,
be
go.
right back.
Go.
Yeah, they're trebuchets.
Oh, trebuchets. Those are so much harder to disable than traditional catapults.
I mean,
yeah.
it would be very helpful to our armies if these trebuchets were disposed of.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
Track knows a lot about war. Is there any way to, cut a line or, break something in specific to render this catapult at least non-usable for a period of time until it can be repaired?
So looking at the trebuchet, in my 2 seconds of glancing at the physics of
Trebuchets
it,
ain't easy.
they're not easy. But you do look and you can see that the way that they basically work is you have the net that goes around whatever they're chucking, and then they have a massive weight, and they trigger that weight falling, and that's how they flip the thing.
Right.
If you could figure out a way to trigger that weight to permanently fall where it cannot be lifted back up and everything like that, you could probably disable it. I would have you go ahead and make a intelligence. Let's see. Why don't you do an intelligence sleight of hand check?
I'm so good at both of those things.
Can I assist?
How did you know?
Kathyr's assisting you. You have advantage.
Thanks, DM.
All right. Well, the first one was better. It's sleight of hand, you said?
Mhm.
15.
Okay, go ahead and make another stealth check for me.
You got it, Track. You got it. I believe. Natural 20.
Not a natural 20, but it is a 19.
Okay.
Nice.
You go up, and you notice
I'm doing it.
as you're looking around, as you guys are like sneaking past this thing, hiding between blocks and sprinting to. Yeah, at one point, Kathyr's literally like cactusing behind one of the statues of the gods.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on a
Just becomes
fountain?
god of
It's
death.
Orgal.
Yeah.
He's holding Edward as a sword.
Yeah.
Riniya's like wandering around.
As you guys are making your way through this landscape, you notice that there are a couple of pins that are very essential to the working of
bowling
mechanism of this. And you sneak over and you just pluck a couple of those pins. As soon as you unweight them, you hear a massive crash as this weight comes down and crashes through one of the beams, which is like an 8 to 10 inch beam of wood that breaks through, landing on one of the ogre's legs and like crippling him. They begin screaming, cursing, whole 9 yards. You immediately sneak away like a fart on the wind.
Berries and cream, berries and cream.
And find yourself behind a boulder as you have disabled this trebuchet.
The boulder does not appreciate being
Oh my
used as a
God.
disguise.
Nice.
You guys then continue on, making your way towards. Oh wait, actually, I know.
My house.
Wait,
Towards
guys-
my home.
you don't even know it. Are you ready for this? So,
It's book time. Oh,
sessions,
it's
PPD sessions 1 through 23. Original notebook. Where?
Wow.
It's book time. The part of the paper
Book
dungeon where Jeff will
time.
through all the books he owns. Add it to
Book
the compilation.
time.
Send that next to my
Yeah.
smart welcome in Paladin
Let's
Angel.
see, where is it? Wow, I used to have do so much better on my session planning.
What?
DJ roasts
The show
himself.
has
What? There was a
developed in
time that you didn't have the session notes all just on a single sticky
Lydia,
note?
stop it.
Hey,
Grant, you need to stop doing
The
that.
Sunrise Suites,
Nice.
that's what it's called.
Oh, yes, it
There we
was
go.
the
Sunrise Suite. How could we have forgotten?
Oh,
That's-
you guys forgot? You guys were wanting to know the name?
yeah, I could have found it.
All right.
Yeah, me and Liddy were on that nonsense.
You
Cat
guys
That's one of the few
boy.
notes that I have.
You guys begin making your way towards the stairs that float up towards the Sunrise Suite. As you approach them, Edward, you do look in the distance, and you do see your historical home, your home off in the distance.
And
with
fellows
trees
Hiding behind some
growing.
trees, maybe.
Part of the roof has collapsed in, and so there's basically like a corner missing that's broken in and collapsed in, which is very similar to many of these other roofs. From what it
Yeah.
looks like, much of this area was like looted and raided and stuff like that, as it's one of the more rich areas of the city. You look at that before moving on, and making your way to those floating stairs.
Can Edward say a couple things?
Yeah, 100%.
Edward just, like, as they're walking, kind of, I mean, they all know, right? Like, we've all been here. It's not a secret. So Edward just kind of slows down and just looks that way. And he just says, I'm sorry, that's where I grew up. Right over there. I don't know why I thought that maybe this tier wouldn't be as bad as the others, but in some ways it's worse. Maybe once all this is through, I'll get a chance to walk through it once more or something, but... Well, don't mind me. We better keep going. And he just starts walking still.
Yes.
Still guiding Riniya. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
Does Riniya still need guiding?
At this point, Riniya, you probably would notice that Pockets gets to the stairs, and then you guys are about to approach the stairs, and so probably at this point you'd be able to come out. Of
Okay.
it.
She's
He's
still
also
holding on to
fighting.
you, though.
And he's
Yeah.
fighting Tears, which is good. You notice his grip kind of relaxes, but he's like his hand is on yours, I guess. As
Yes,
he
Kathyr.
finds comfort from it.
Now this isn't important. This is just a continuity thing for my own sake. Wasn't the 12 Platinum Cranes the really fancy place that the floating
No.
staircase led to?
So there were two very nice inns. The Sunrise Suite is the one that's actually up in the ceiling that has the floating stairs that go up to it. Because it's one of the few places on the backside of Athala that has a natural cavity that leads to where you can see the sunrise. The 12 Platinum Cranes is the nicest inn on the second level, I believe.
Platinum
and then
Cranes is the
there's-
second inn we stayed at, and that's where we took care of
There's
Hollow
also the
Sunrise
12
Suite.
silver
Is the
cranes,
inn with the
isn't there?
floating rocks led in by Edward.
Yeah, and the 12 silver cranes is the
Is the
fancy
one lower down.
Yeah, it's on the first ring.
Yes.
So yeah,
Nice.
yeah, they're all there's lots of inns and places like that, but the one that you guys are going to specifically is the Sunrise Suite.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I was just not important. I was just curious because it is kind of
It's
fun
been a minute.
to it's
Been a
kind of
long
fun
time,
to
guys.
look back.
it is kind of fun to look back.
Like 40,
Um,
no, almost 30 episodes or something like that, maybe.
More than that.
More.
Well, yeah, let's see. It was episode 30 when
More.
you guys
More.
took out Prosius. So
That was
that's
probably
40
like
episodes.
50 episodes, probably.
Since like we were
Yeah, well,
here.
It would
69 minus
More.
30 is 39. So yeah, almost 40 episodes.
What number did
That's
you
crazy.
Crazy. Anyway,
So much
Anyway,
nostalgia.
Nostalgic.
it's crazy.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
You guys step onto those stairs, and you have that
Explosions.
golden rope that forms around you guys, so that you can't fall off the platform
That's good.
as you slowly begin to raise into the sky. Is there anything that you guys particularly do to make the floating stairs and yourselves being on it less conspicuous to anybody that looks up?
Yes, I cast Major Image.
Great, perfect.
And I essentially make it so nothing's different. It's just, it's just
Makes
plain
an
air.
image
It's a
around us
bigger
that
rock.
looks like
Yeah.
plain rock.
It's just, no, not even a rock.
Plain air.
It's just nothingness. It's just plain air. That's it. Yeah, so that I do
It's
that.
major image. Okay, I'll allow it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's major, dude.
They
It
have
is-
to
Major.
like take
I mean,
an
yeah.
action
Mhm.
to really see that it's not happening.
Tarak will also. Oh, I should have mentioned. Tarak would have distributed the diseases that he had made, that for the like food and stuff to the Shagaz orcs. Like
Yeah.
he will give a vial, the 2 vials that can be applied to weapons, one to Riniya and one to Kathyr, because they require like sharp instruments,
What,
and I have a hammer.
what do these files do?
Specifically, oh gosh, let me pull up the correct thing that I need. Here we go. These would be the silent no, not the silent defeat. It would be the ghost heart. It takes an action to apply, lasts for a minute. Every time that they are hit by an attack for that minute, they must make a DC 14 con save or take 1d10 necrotic damage and then age by that many years. This effect will continue every 24 hours, and they are cured after 3 successes. But it will reapply if you continue to hit them with it. So it basically just adds 1d10 necrotic damage if they fail the con save on a hit. Because I don't think that they'll live longer than 1 combat. So they probably will need to make that 24-hour save.
That's some confidence right there.
That's
So
what I'm here for.
you guys begin flying up towards the Sunrise Suite. Edward begins casting some magic, strumming some notes, and creates a very similar effect to the dome that you guys use very often to stay safe, where you guys can kind of like, you can see into it, but nobody can see it. Like you can see out of it, but nobody can see into it. Kind of a similar effect where you guys can tell that you're looking around and everything like that, but there's almost like this shimmer, like it's just like looking through like a clear veil almost, as you realize that you guys are basically completely invisible. Slowly, the stairs rise up to the suite where the banister on one side disappears and the new banisters appear on the ledge that you guys step onto. You step forward and find yourselves in the Sunrise Suite, one of the few places in Athala that have not been completely ransacked. It has been shut down. You can see that there's all the tables and the chairs off in the corner with like dust cloths over them, stuff like that. There is the main counter with all the books and the ledgers closed off to the side, stuff like that. And Kathyr, you see the doors that you use to, the closet that you use to get up and down, stuff like that, to go to the teleportation room. Is still open. Seemingly, it seems like you guys were the last ones to come in and out of the Sunrise Suite.
Why am I not surprised?
You guys, knowing the urgency, even though there are many memories here, head over to that staircase and immediately begin making your way down the wall. As you make your way down, back and forth, and 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 back and forth, forever, until you die, is what it seems like. The stairs go on literally for eternity, before
Literally?
eventually.
Oh,
What was that?
okay, I see.
Sorry. They go on for eternity until finally there is variety, as this last staircase, or just beneath you, as you go down a couple more staircases, you don't see like lights flickering, but you see, you know how when you look at a bigger space, you can just see a little bit more light in there, even if there aren't actually lights on there, but it's just kind of lights like slightly brighter than small dark spaces. You can tell that it gets slightly brighter. As you come down, making your way down to the last of those stairs, you find yourselves in the teleportation room. There is a few large teleportation circles, and Edward, you remember that there was Edward and Riniya, I believe. You guys remember that there is just a few last little like component type things that you have to do to actually activate the circle, and there's a lever, and then you can run through it and stuff like that.
So
Get
we're
all
here.
that.
Are we doing it?
Is there anything we should say or do before this happens? I mean, this is kind of the end of the road, right? Like, we go through this tunnel, we don't, or this portal, we don't know what's on the other side.
I mean,
This
we
could
have
be
a
it.
little idea of what's on the other side. We've been there once.
But I mean, this mysterious foe? And who knows what's around him?
I'm kind
There's
of
a-
pumped about it, all honesty.
There's only one way to find out, Edward, and that's by going through.
Certainly
And
no going back.
there's no going back. That's definitely true. You just
It's
have
all
to.
led to this. Even Prosius was a stepping stone.
That's just the start, but this is going to be the end.
Do this.
Okay.
If there's any preparatory spells that anyone would like to cast, now may be the correct time to do so.
Okay.
Edward for sure casts aid with an
Getting
E
on
at
that
the end.
warding bond
Actually, it
grind.
doesn't have an E at the end. I'm going to cast it on. Oh gosh. Me.
Because I'm kind, and
Well,
this is
I was gonna say,
Oh, is
with
it
the
not gonna
teleportation
be-
circle, it doesn't take us directly. It like takes us just like outside of like the
I mean,
grand
Yeah,
manor,
we know.
right?
I'm still gonna cast aid.
But is it going to take more than an hour to get there?
It lasts like 8 hours, right?
It lasts 8
It
hours.
literally lasts 8
it
hours.
would be just fine. But
I'm
I'm
gonna
just
cast it-
you
Oh,
guys
okay.
still have a little ways to go before you're actually gonna get to
Yeah.
where you're going. So just because I want to be on the table fair, I don't want you guys to feel like I'm cheating
That's
again.
sweet.
you can choose to cast your spells later if you feel like it.
I'm
Or
gonna
you can
cast
just cast it
aid.
now.
And
I'll cast it on me, Riniya, Kathyr. Tarak can handle
Great.
himself.
I'm good.
aid cast.
And that's all I do.
I'm downright juicy right now.
Okay.
Nice.
Dang it.
It's
Rant.
so much louder too.
It
it's
is.
powerful.
Really? Is
It got
really?
louder.
How? Okay.
Well,
I'll
it's
fix it.
because
I'll
it's
fix it. I'll fix
directly
it.
through your mic sound. There isn't like the distance between your face and the mic. It just goes
How's
channel
this?
straight through it.
Nice.
Better.
Yeah.
We'll
deal with
We
it.
did it. We did it.
You guys, who's actually gonna be casting the magic?
I
It doesn't
can.
cast a spell slot or anything like that. Wait. Okay, cool. So Tarak, Edward, and Kathy, you guys all stand in the circle as Riniya goes over to the familiar lever, where there's actually like an instruction guide, like on like a little book, and you just like go
Okay.
through and follow all the steps. And,
Yep,
Make
yep.
sure that all
All
limbs
good,
are
all
inside of
good.
the
Double
casting
checked.
circle.
All right.
Exactly.
Kathyr, Tarak, and Edward are doing their like idle stances.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pull
I
the
take out a
lever,
piece of bread.
Riniya. I'm gonna pull the lever. Pull it.
Pulls the lever. The runes and the teleportation circle immediately begin to light up and activate as Riniya kind of hustles her way over there, like a mom taking family photos on the timer. She just kind of like does that little hustle, you know.
How awkward would it be if we just got teleported?
And
And,
then-
eyes on
Ah.
the ground, and we're like, oh,
Dang it, I
Ah.
gotta do it again.
Just gotta start all over.
You guys go through, and once again, you have that very similar sensation of planar travel or teleportation and all this, like, where you feel like you're gonna throw up. It's just gross, you know. And it's only for a second, but it's still terrible.
hate that.
But you find yourselves instantly on the other side of this teleportation circle.
In the middle of the ocean.
Of the ocean.
Surrounded
Round
by
2, baby. You
guards.
guys are gonna drown again.
Oh, yeah.
No. You find yourselves in another room. This one unfamiliar. Very much unlike the previous Capitol building that Prazis resided in. Now you find yourselves in almost like a keep, where the previous building was carpeted and had like wallpaper and adornments and lanterns and artwork and historical objects and stuff like this. This is like a brick castle-esque type building. It is cold, it's damp, it's dark, it's dirty.
Feels
You
like
are-
home.
Locked into this room. In front of you is an open hallway before it tees off into another hallway.
So
Edward, go ahead and
close.
make an Arcana check for me.
Okay.
Riniya, you too.
That's a nat 1 from me.
Yep.
So I don't know what's happening.
That's a natural 20 for me, so a 25.
We hit the yin yang.
This is
right
why
there,
she
baby.
is the Arcana cleric.
Yep. Yep. Edward
Riniya,
says something.
you step in
wrong.
here, you look around, and you immediately recognize that none of this is per se real. You recognize that this is a form of illusion magic. You also know off of your Arcana check that this is such a strong form of illusion magic that they're basically changing reality to the point where the illusions are real.
Oh, that's not good.
That's
He
not good.
tells
That's
them
not
this.
good.
What was that?
He tells
That's
them that.
Pretty strong magic there.
That's some very strong magics.
That's some
Oh,
sand bride.
God.
I've
Nonsense.
never met anybody or any creature who could manage that.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I
I think Leshka might have been able to. He seemed pretty
So
powerful.
perhaps we are
Leshka
in the
got
well,
taken
Leshka,
out by
he-
an ice
yeah, he kinda
cube.
died, but we
I
don't solve
mean,
that.
Did he what?
I liked the fellow. It's
Don't worry
just,
about
you
it.
know. Anyways,
So-
it's possible that we're in the capital then, right? It's just.
I mean,
different.
it's possible. If this is all just an illusion,
This isn't good.
can we dispel the illusion?
Activate my true
I,
sight.
I
that
don't
totally
think I'm
have.
strong enough to do it.
There's no way.
Right. Okay.
I think we just go with it. If this is basically now reality,
I mean, we'll deal with it.
Kathyr, let me put it this way. I'm baby magic compared to this.
we know.
I mean,
I'm
better go
very
before I
baby
get
magic
found.
compared to this.
right. Kathyr
could never
will
dream.
unsheath his
I wish.
not his sword actually. He will unsheath Visen's greatsword. And start to Like he'll like look over, or like just like stick his head out and just look kind of both directions real quick.
You stick your head out. You look right. You look left. You see baby skeletons. You look right.
Baby skeleton.
You realize that you see baby skeletons.
Baby skeletons.
Oh, not again.
As
Not these guys.
you hear like the,
Not these guys.
Oh.
they grab a mop.
Nice.
As another.
Thanks,
Sorry,
Jim.
that was confusing. This small little group, talking about like maybe like 20 of these little baby skeletons,
This is the
comes
last thing I
rushing
would
towards you
have
guys. Go ahead and
expected.
roll a quick initiative for me, just for the fun.
Oh,
Lydia, I
God.
assume you can handle this.
I'm getting my channel divinity ready. Don't you
I
worry.
hope there's not a hand. The little baby skeleton cleaning crew. What a throwback, dude.
25 to 20.
21.
Oh, they got a nat 20.
Dang
I got a
it.
23.
I mean,
Uh,
if you
What's
don't
your
have,
dexterity, Edward?
14.
What's the bonus? 14?
Plus 2.
Great.
Do I go first?
No.
Gosh,
Dang.
I love and hate these guys.
I
can't
love these things
believe
so much.
the
Wait, Grant, what
cleaning
did you get?
crew. 23.
you got 23. Nice.
I did. I rolled a 19.
So 20 to 15? 15 to 10?
14.
Nice. A track.
So baby
Six.
skeletons, Edward, Kathyr, Riniya,
No,
what you get?
I had a 21.
So baby skeletons, Edward, Riniya, Kathyr,
Track.
track. Great.
Yeah.
The baby skeletons run up to you, Kathyr.
Great.
Yeah. Look at your boot.
Great.
They just
They're
polish
so
his shoe.
cute.
Ting, 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 ting.
How small are they again? They're like the size of a shoe. Right?
Each one is like this tall. They're like seriously like
Gosh,
like
Oh.
7 inches tall.
they're so
And their heads are
adorable.
way larger than their
Yeah,
bodies. Too.
Exactly, and like their head accounts for like the 4 inches of that, and then there's like the little body.
And this was from Fluffy Folio, right?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yes. To
Shout out.
quote Fluffy
Follow
Folio,
them on
it's-
Twitter. They're awesome.
They're called the skeletons specifically, or a skeleton cleaning crew is how you can look them up and stuff like that. They're freaking awesome.
The little
They come
mops
up-
doubling us.
And hey, Kathyr does a 14 hit.
No.
They come up and they're literally just stabbing at
Ding,
your
ding,
boot,
ding, ding, ding.
and it's exactly. Edward, it's your turn.
I just look over at the others. I'm just like,
Oh, dog.
Edward just looks like over like wide-eyed at Riniya and is like,
Uh-huh.
"What are these things doing here?" And then Edward walks over, and he doesn't want to do something very loud. So I guess what he'll
Underwave.
do, he's just gonna rapier one, I guess. How many are there? You said like 12.
It's like 15, but they're it's whatever.
I mean, Lydia's about, Renae's about to destroy all of them. So
Hey, let him get this win.
Wait,
alright?
does one of them have a water bucket?
You
Please,
don't see
please.
any of them having a water bucket at the moment.
I so wanted to rip it out of its hands and dump
Okay,
water
alright.
on them.
You know what? Yeah, sure. As they hear the ting 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 ting, there's 2 more that come around the corner. One of them carrying a
Yes.
bucket, the other one carrying a mop. They come around the corner. You notice it. What would you like to do?
Edward just like kind of like speedily kind of jogs over there next to Kathyr and says, "Hey, you stop that!" And Edward's just gonna rip or like pick up the bucket, and it's fine if they're hanging on to the bucket.
You know, one is hanging onto the bucket. The other one is like reaching up towards it like a little kid.
Its little legs like kicking, and
We're
Edward's
about
just
to
gonna dump
massacre
the
these
water
adorable things.
onto
And by
all of these little skeletons
by
to
we, I
make them
mean
all
Renaya.
slip around.
Yeah.
The
they're-
wet soapy water makes them slip, right?
You
That's like
you
its effect.
splash this puddle, and they all immediately get kind of caught, almost in like a flash flood for them, and they like legs slip up from under them, and their heads, which are way too heavy for their bodies, like flip over, and a lot of them like flip completely upside down, so their feet are just like sticking up, and they're just like floating on their heads.
We're just bullying these little skeletons. Oh,
Man,
that's
you're
Edward's
small,
turn.
kick.
That's Edward's turn.
Riniya,
All right, we're gonna channel some divinity. They gotta make a wisdom saving throw. We're gonna turn someone dead.
that's
I
a
cast
natural
fireball
one.
suggests a
Yeah,
fireball.
that
So,
means
negative-
yeah, we're
What's
gonna
their challenge rating?
yeah. What's their challenge rating?
One.
Dang it!
What?
Wait, that's good.
My challenge rating is half or lower to destroy undead.
Ah, dang it! Why is Graz'zt so hot?
I know,
Well,
right?
You know what? Just for the sake of it, and this is the one-time thing,
Welcome in.
we're gonna say you eviscerate them. Just 'cause-
Yay! I
It
didn't want to deal with
individually-
these guys
it's only
at
a
all.
one because it's a group. If you
Yeah,
count them as individual creatures,
You know, Edward like separated them out a little bit so that they're not at quite, they don't have the pack going, so you just like snap your fingers and this little like this slow moving like roll kind of rolls out from your feet and they just slowly like as they get like eviscerated one by one as this
we
goes
can
out.
still feel the pain.
Screams of pain while they're slipping around in soapy water.
Oh, that
These
might be my
poor
favorite.
little skeletons. They
It's
were
like I'm being
harmless.
boiled alive.
This
Yeah,
is
that's
on
right.
par with punching the mushroom in my book.
Oh, Tarak is
thank you for
so
the
pumped about
1,000
this. He's
bits,
like, yeah,
Handscape.
yeah,
That's
get him,
crazy.
Renai, get him.
Yeah.
That's a lot,
Yeah.
Hans.
Mushroom.
Thank you for the 1,000 bits. That's awesome.
Thanks,
That's
Handscape.
so much.
I'm gonna
Thank
give us
you.
bits. Oh,
That's
thank
really
you.
Sweet. You get
We
an ounce.
hate
Nice. Nice.
and love
Nice.
these skelly boys.
I
Half
love
of
these.
us is like, oh, they're fine, and then the other half is like, burn.
Renae's just like, not now. Ugh.
With this anymore. We're gonna take this 1,000 bits as an opportunity for me to go to the bathroom. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, so in this amount of time that
your
we
1,000
have,
bits, you get a
while
plug.
DJ skedaddles on out of here, just so you know, we have a number of announcements that I can fill this time with. One, we have table scraps
No.
on Thursday.
DJ's leaving us too. You
Oh,
know,
no.
You mean
I'm gonna
Drew.
leave just for fun.
Same thing.
Okay, well, hey,
I'll stand
back
in the
you up.
corner.
I'll back you up.
Keep
man.
going. I'm
Great,
just
this
gonna
is
I'm
such a
ready.
rare thing. It's just me and you on stream. This
Yeah,
never
I'm
happens.
ready, man. I'm ready.
So,
I'm here with
anyway, we have table scraps on Thursdays. It's a
Mhm.
talk show
Nice.
where we do stuff and we talk about this show in specific, and then we eventually get completely off track, talk about a bunch of
Nice.
random things. It's really fun.
Nice.
You should be there. Sometimes we do art. Sometimes we even play a one shot. Who knows what we'll do? Other than that, just a reminder, we are currently sponsored
I beat DJ.
right now.
Nice.
We are sponsored by Real Rollers. They have a Kickstarter going on. It is running out of time. You're running out
Nice.
of time to do this Kickstarter. This is the time
Nice.
to do it. Get in there, back them up. We like them, they like us. We will be using their
Nice.
dice on this show. I know that I have joined in their Kickstarter personally, and I'm getting 2 extra sets of dice. I think
I'm getting an extra
Rue's in
set
there.
too.
Riniya's in there. I don't know
I
what
wanted-
Grant's doing.
I love
DJ's
him so
probably
much.
in there because DJ likes spending
Nice.
money on things. But other than that, join us in helping them, and you'll be
You're
a cooler
really
person for it.
pretty.
And
Also,
you'll
Yeah,
be
very,
cool
very
guy.
Also, table scraps usually turns out super well. A lot of people like it. It's a good time. Sometimes it turns out better than the main campaign. Check the Discord for Thursday announcements.
Nice. Nice.
Yes, Lydia?
Nice.
Alright, great, stop. Yes, Lydia, you said you needed me.
Oh no! I just said I beat you.
Oh, I beat you. As
As always.
you guys eviscerate this skeleton cleaning crew as they are just making their way.
Poor things. They were just cleaning.
Whatever.
Not
Which
like they
way
have
would you like to go?
souls.
I mean, if they didn't attack us, then I would have been fine just to leave them. But
Which way would you like to go? Left or right?
I mean,
We
Left.
know Lydia's answer.
Do we
Yep, I
see-
knew Lydia was gonna say that.
do we see where the left or the right goes?
I said pockets left.
Okay.
I
Pockets
like
goes
it.
100 feet left. There's 3 turns along the left face.
Oh, God.
Okay, pockets go right.
There's
We're in a
2 turns along the right
maze.
face.
Okay, there's less options on the right.
As much as that means to me that we should go right, it probably means that left is the correct choice.
Is this a puzzle?
Yeah, let's go left. I'm going left.
We're
Renae's going
towards
left.
Where the cleaning crew came from?
Go ahead and I'm going to have
Both.
one person make a survival check with advantage.
Wait.
Who's good at
Really
survival?
great. Those, right?
Wait, I have a +8 to survival.
Holy
Please
crap.
go for it. This
Oh
is
my God.
look.
Wow.
If it's wisdom,
What?
let Riniya do it.
That is the text.
Hey,
I have a
Lydia,
+4,
Lydia,
I'm
Lydia,
good.
Lydia, before you roll,
I
before you
never
roll,
get to do survival. Yeah.
just go ahead and roll a natural 20.
Okay.
He's using his power.
No, I got a 17 though.
Oh my gosh,
Okay,
it
well,
still
that's good
worked.
enough.
Total?
25.
Very nice. You guys follow Renae's lead as she, like a hound dog, like a bloodhound, sniffs out this magic. Basically, you go through, and with a combination of survival and your arcane nature, you're almost like source tracing the spell to a certain extent, where you're going through it and you're following for quite a while. You guys twist and turn and wind. Yes, Kathyr.
Marching order, I assume Lydia's in front, not Lydia. Riniya is in front, leading.
Lydia is in front, yes.
Kathyr's in the back, as always, with Tarak right behind Riniya and Edward in the middle.
I'm
Edward
happy.
sandwich.
I'm
Yep.
happy with that.
So
Great.
Riniya, Tarak, Edward, Kathyr.
Yep.
Great. You guys make your way after probably 30 minutes of walking around, you come up to, or you come around a corner to see these large wooden doors, probably like a large, like red mahogany type of stained door that has been sealed shut, and there is some words on the door.
Okay, you gotta read these slow, buddy, because I'm gonna write them down and I'm not good at it.
What does it say? What does
Lydia
it
can
say?
also like understand anything.
I love reading, especially about Mike, and it's named Mike.
So,
Elid.
inscripted on the door is this simple sentence: when all who have opposed our will fall, the answer reveals. And then beneath it, there's a series of letters: Z, U, N, Y, M, space, A, U, G, V, C, N.
Could you read those again? Sorry.
So it goes Z, U, N, Y, M, space, A, U, G, V, C, N.
All right.
So, read me the sentence one more time because I want to make sure that I wrote it down right because I'm pretty sure I didn't.
When all who have opposed our will fall, the answer reveals.
Okay.
Did you-
Zuda
So I'm
That's just how the
here's
letters
what
read
I'm
to me.
thinking. Maybe it's possible that a letter, some letters like correlate with those who have opposed their will. So as we take away letters, the like answer reveals. That's one option.
I do like that's some good.
That's what I'm
riddle-
thinking,
That's some
yeah,
good
is
riddle
it's-
mentality.
Does
Take
if
away
we
the word.
If we approach the door,
Take away
can we
the letters.
rearrange the letters?
No,
No. Okay.
no, they're they glow like spell runes on the door.
So maybe we have to say like
Wondering if Aaron
names
knows what
of
I did.
people and letters will disappear or move. Maybe.
Oh my god, is
Um,
this just an elaborate game of Hangman?
No, that's a good answer though.
Okay. Edward takes a shot and says, Havel.
ZUNYM AUGUCN.
When you say Havel, the word all glows slightly brighter for just a second.
I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. Dang it, I deleted the note. On accident.
When all who have opposed all will fall, the answer reveals.
Melora. Huh?
Again, all glows ever so slightly.
It is the
Oh.
first all, correct?
Yes, when
There's
all
there's
there's
only one all.
all
The other one is our.
Yeah.
When all who have
who've
our
opposed-
will
Oh,
fall.
I thought it was all will.
No, our
I-
will
Our will.
Yeah.
fall.
Gotcha. That makes
Oh.
it so much more
Okay.
helpful.
Well, Riniya.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
How about
Weizen.
yes,
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Prosius?
Nothing happens.
Okay. Well, the door likes Havel and Melora. Seems
And they have perished.
perished.
I keep looking to Aaron because Aaron might know specifically what type of thing this is.
I think I do. Is this a cipher?
Yeah.
Now,
I
the
mean-
problem is I don't know how to get to the key to this cipher.
Okay.
That's
I'm gonna
that's
let-
the issue, though.
And then I'll give you a little bit in a little bit. Keep thinking on things.
So, depending on what cipher, like, so my natural thought of cipher would be I can't remember the name of it, but it's a specific one with two circles of letters, and
Yeah.
you can line up
That's very similar to what I ended up doing.
Okay. Where you can,
So,
if you know
right.
which key letter aligns to which letter,
Mhm.
then you can translate where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and make an intelligence check, Tarak, with advantage because you're smart.
Oh, am I? 14.
Okay.
Why is it always me? Can't it be anyone other than like one of the people who has good intelligence, please?
Aaron.
No, that person's dead.
Dang
Uh,
it.
So Aaron, you 14 is fairly decent. You know, having figured out that this is probably a cipher for the letters beneath it, and the way that ciphers work, a lot of times is you have like the key letter there that lines up where it's like whatever a B would be is actually a
Mhm.
Z or whatever. In this case, it's not quite that case. There is a certain number of spaces back, and that's where the alphabet starts on the first alphabet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same principle. It's just,
It's
Because
instead
you
of a
can
circle with
assign-
a letter, it's like you just back it up and then fill
yeah,
it.
you assign a number to each letter and then which number goes to that.
Kind of. So just because I really want to make sure you get it. So if you want to picture it, you have A through Z on the top line. Okay.
Gotcha.
You have
Yeah.
the full alphabet on the top line,
Mm-hmm.
and then you skip a number of letters, whatever that number is, and then you start A through Z again, and then wrap it around.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
we're saying the exact same thing.
Yep,
Cool. I
makes
just want to make
sense.
sure. So you're trying
I'm
to figure
glad
out
you
that.
re-explained it because I
Okay.
don't know.
That's what you're trying to do is figure out that number at the moment.
Oh, I got one too. Terracolumos.
Nothing
Maybe?
happens.
Oh,
We're
well,
looking for.
Oh God, how do we get the cipher letter though? Like,
You don't need the letter. You need the number.
well, I mean, yeah, the number of spaces forward or backwards.
H-A-V-A-L-M-E-L-O. Oh,
Well, that's two that have fallen.
That is two that have fallen.
Two? That's fair.
Oh, how about? Well, this would be strange, but what about Kathyr?
No, I had to remember who that was for a second.
That's a.
And
deep
you
dive.
said that it would be skipped forward. So 1, 2. Hold on.
Tarak, you got something?
Tracks out with like a little like piece of charcoal and paper, scribbling
It's
orcish
too bad the
letters.
track doesn't know how to write.
He's making just scribbles, but he's writing down what he thinks the letters would be in
Yeah.
his head just to write it down.
It's not two.
Let's see.
Anybody else who we've? Who
Yeah,
have
that's
passed away?
that's a bad.
Yeah, two doesn't work.
2 is no good. Man, I wish
Try
that I had some
3.
construction paper.
We'll just go through every number. Until
That would
it
make
makes
this so much
sense.
easier.
I'm sorry.
Try 3, I guess.
Just
We could theoretically go through every single
No, it wouldn't
arrangement
be
of letters.
three.
If
Did you try 2 both ways?
DM,
Uh-huh.
if I say Kiamora, does it light up?
Oh.
does blow.
Oh, thank God. That would have been a tough way to find that out.
Okay.
So you guys,
Kathyr.
as you look through it, when Havel and Melora were mentioned, the all
Oh, it's well. Would it be 3 then?
I
No,
tried
no.
three,
You have
didn't
to skip from A to L. Wait. Oh, DJ facepalm. That's not it. It was a good idea.
I? Okay, wait. So
How many? Wait, no, that would be the same thing.
Oh man,
Oh,
it's gonna be really
God.
bad if we have to go
Oh.
craft time with ciphers today, and I have to make a little cipher decoder.
hold on, I'm actually gonna do it.
Be a
Let's
bad
see. Let's see if
time.
we can. You guys can figure it out in the time it takes for me to make a cipher. Hold on.
Takaram.
See, the problem is I don't know
what's
enough
her
about
name?
ciphers to actually be a help here.
So
Megan
what
with
you're
an
doing,
H.
Drew, is you're trying to
Megan
figure
with
out a
an H.
number. Okay?
I got that. part.
Because
I don't know what we're doing
Yeah.
using the number for.
so think of it like this. Okay, picture a piece of paper. You have A through Z on the top, so you have 26 letters on the top, right? Then the number that you're trying to figure out is how many letters you skip before starting the alphabet again beneath it. Okay, so say it was like 11. Okay, you would go 11 of those, the first 11 letters you'd skip, and then you start A, and you go A through however many you can until you get to the end of the original alphabet, and then you flip it around, and then you get it so that you have a each letter represents another letter, and you have to figure out that number so you know how far back you have to circle it around.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
We got
Meanwhile, arts and crafts time over here on Lydia.
All right, I got it.
Lydia
I got it. I got
mode.
it. I got it.
Um,
I got it made. I got the
for those of
alphabet
you who are
going.
still trying to figure out the riddle, not cheat it.
how many numbers?
Havel
Hey, this isn't cheating. This is using your resources. I am the note taker. Paper and pen are my tools. Okay. So.
and Melora were a part of all.
Yes. But all as in like.
Oh,
But who's all of the people that
Oh.
we've?
Now, is it a code for our? Like, who are the people that we're against?
I thought
We
that
already named
was-
Frausius.
Yeah.
Are there like the
Yeah, okay. When you
Arcfey?
Frausius, yeah, I'll say yeah. Our glows a little bit.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, so
We're
that
making
also does a
progress.
thing.
Yes, our. Okay, I think we can do this, guys. I straight up deleted the note. I have the stuff
You-
on, so I
You
don't.
want me to say it again?
So wait. Is it 1,
Type it
2,
in chat,
3,
maybe.
4, 5, 6? Would it be 6? Because there was 6 of us.
I mean,
Wasn't there?
potentially.
Let's try it. I mean,
nothing
it
happened
was.
when we said our names.
Right,
Frausius.
But we haven't fallen.
There's also 6 masks, but I mean,
Hold on. Okay,
That's
so
also that is actually
This
true.
is the
One,
most
2,
bootlegged
3,
cipher
4,
decoder
5,
I've ever
6.
made in my life.
Okay. So
The scary thing is
then
that I've made more
it's,
than one.
So okay. Hold on, writing. you-
Newgate Fellows. Let's see if that does anything.
Lydia, speak. Tell me what you're doing,
I'm doing it 6 forward.
and then you're
First one
starting right
try.
after that. So on the 7th letter.
Like,
Try that.
so hold on. Let me. I
What
don't.
do you have for Z?
For Z right now, I have. Oh gosh, my cipher. For Z, I have. T right now.
No. You're unfortunately you're not
Try.
doing it cipher correctly.
Did I do it wrong? Hold on.
So here, I'll
One,
make your life
two.
easy.
3,
On-
4,
in one,
5,
on one row.
6.
It should be G or maybe H, depending on how you start.
Hold on. My thing's a little crooked because I ran out of paper. Yeah,
Ciphers.
for 6.
They're a thing.
For 6, Z is T.
No.
Oh, for
So
Z.
you started with A through Z at the top, right?
Yeah.
And then beneath it, you went 6 over from A, and then
Mhm.
started your A there, right?
1, 2,
Which would
3,
mean that
4,
A is
5,
on G.
6.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would make ZT.
I'm with Lydia on this one. That's what I'm getting.
That
as
would
well.
make Z F.
How far? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F. I mean, that's A, B, C, D, E, F. That's 6.
That would be 6 letters away from G. That math
Well,
is not
yeah,
adding
Z
up
would
correctly.
be F,
Okay,
but
let me.
but look, it would be F on the top is Z.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so then on the other side,
Oh,
this
it's
Z
H
is a
reverse.
T.
DJ's like, let me look at
I think
this.
the cipher is the other way, where the moved letters are on top.
It depends on which end you're looking at.
So you have A
Yeah.
through Z.
Yeah.
Part of me
Okay,
hopes
right.
TJ is wrong.
See, Z
Okay.
and F would go there. But
Yeah,
since we moved
but-
it forward, it would make this Z lines up with the T. My thing's a little cramped at the end.
Okay, I see. You're doing it backwards.
Oh yeah, you started
Okay,
at
so
Z
you
for
move
the
back
bottom row.
from the letter
So
instead
you
of
move
forward.
back. Okay.
No. You have the right combinations. You're looking at it the wrong way. When the Z
Okay.
letter that you have should translate to F. Does that make
Okay.
sense? Went from down up to bottom to top. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me, DJ.
I'm following.
Okay. Okay. So
you're
this is
okay.
the solid one. This is the one on the top for me is the translator. Okay, got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if Z is F, then you is not on my thing.
You have to
Fell
wrap it
off.
around. So the last 6 letters
Yes.
in the first 6.
I know. I gotta go backwards though.
Fate's Gambit.
You would be.
I really
That-
hope that
Say Fate's
DJ
Gambit.
I really hope that DJ is
Yeah,
Whoa,
nobody's
Yes.
listening. I just said it.
Oh, I heard it.
Kathyr said it.
It's Fate's
Kathyr
Gambit.
says Fate's Gambit.
We
It's
did
pretty-
it. We got this. How funny would it be if 6 wasn't the actual number?
Good job, guys.
Face Gambit.
We
Yeah,
had
that's
such a
us.
big- That was clever, DJ. A cipher including.
Honestly,
6
I thought
Fate's
about it at
Gambit,
first,
'cause
but
there
then
were
I
6
got
of us.
confused with the whole cipher thing, so I thought.
DJ, this is what I give you for that.
Nice.
That was clever. That was really clever, buddy.
Reject your nice. You guys, Kathyr, you, as everyone's brainstorming and figuring things out, writing things down, stuff like that.
Gosh, Drew, why do you have to be so smart? Literally, like, I did so much work for one letter.
Well, literally, you said F. I'm like, hold on a second. F. Let's see. How many letters are there in Fates? Let's see. 5 letters. How many letters are in
How do
Gambit?
they know our
That's also
name?
5. Huh.
Well done, Drew.
Thank you.
Kathyr,
Thank you.
you say Fate's Gambit. The runes, all the runes glow for just a second, and
Explode.
the words slowly fade away. Inscribed on the door are a number of arcane symbols that then light up and begin to glow as the beam that has gone across the door, locking it, slowly begins to shift its way across.
Kathyr, you did it.
It passes the halfway point, and the doors swing inward by themselves.
I straight up thought that was my stomach.
Whoa.
The doors open to a deep, dark room with tall ceilings, almost like a ornate throne room. Sitting on the far side, barely lit by one candle, like 20 feet away from him, you just see the glimmer of light reflecting off of this tall stack of faces as he sits waiting for you. I have been waiting for you. We're gonna end tonight's episode.
Oh God! Oh.
Final boss.
Hey,
baby.
DM.
Oh
I don't
my
suppose
gosh.
there's enough light
Nice.
in the room to see what 6 faces make up the mask.
Sure. You have a face of like anger. You have a face of like ecstasy.
You got a frowny face. You got a happy face. You got a
Nice.
silly
I just-
face.
Nice.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't something a little more morbid than that.
I can't.
You have
believe
Kathyr's
we're
face?
here.
You have Kathyr's face. You have Riniya's face. You have Melora's face.
Yeah.
Apple's
Guys,
face. No,
next week,
no, it's very symbolic.
episode 70, we face like the first major boss. Other than Prazius, maybe, but he was kind of baby.
This
not
was
gonna
also a
lie.
major boss. Good job on the cipher, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Super stoked.
What a good
Just
session.
quick reminder to everybody that is watching. Next week will be my last episode for about 4 weeks. While I'm gone, we're going to be playing an awesome little module called Camp Cryptids that Lydia made.
One and the same. Oh God, great. No.
It's gonna be super, super fun. It's all pre-recorded, but most of us should be in the chat hanging out so that we can still hang out with you guys. And that way I still got to play, which is really nice of my fellow castmates. And then we will be back. I don't know if we've said it, but just so everybody's aware, next week's gonna be the last episode of the main campaign for that little while. In that break that we're gone, there's going to be a break in the campaign itself as well. It will take place over the course of 3 years, where Fate's Gambit has, hopefully, so long as they live, we'll see. Plans might change.
Oh,
But
7.
Fate's Gambit, for the most part, has retired, moved on to other things, and the world has fallen into peace. Hopefully, we'll see. That's the plan. If they all die, things change. Campaign 2 starts. So yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Super excited. Check out Regal Rollers.
Everyone's
yeah,
saying good night in chat. Good night, guys. We might have a couple guests over the break as well. Nothing's official, but it could be a good time. So, yeah, it'll be a fun little break time. What a good episode 69.
Nice.
Nice. All right. Lydia, stop it. Oh my god. Thank you guys so much for watching. We love you guys. Good luck and Godspeed, Dungeoneers. We will see you next time.
It's been a blast, y'all.
See you
Get
guys.
muted, Grant.
I did. Yeah.